Yo, what's going on, everybody?
Hello.
Yeah, we got DJ Donatas with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Half friend of ours. He's been, I've known him for quite some time.
Seen him quite a lot of parties.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
Weddings,
parties, christenings, all kinds of stuff, right?
Yes, sir.
Obviously, you play all kinds of music for whatever event you're going to, right?
Yes, sir.
So, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks
for coming.
Do you remember that girl that was crawling across the dance floor a couple weeks ago?
No.
Where? When?
You were at that wedding too.
I don't know if I stayed that long. Did I stay that long?
I don't know, but it was a specific girl. She was just on all fours crawling across the dance floor.
Man.
She got up. She walked normally, by the way. She wasn't like destroyed, right? like that drunk. And then she did it again. I'm like, is this a move?
What wedding is this?
This is one that happened 4 weeks ago. That's all I'll say.
The one that we're all at?
Yeah.
Oh, at, what's it called? At Derek's wedding.
Derek's wedding.
Yeah.
Scoobish?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
that was a good wedding. That was a good wedding. Shout out Derek.
Yep. I don't know. I left a little earlier because I was beat. I don't remember what the reasoning was for leaving earlier, but I did.
You also have kids.
Well, that's true. I think that was the reason why I left.
Makes sense.
Yeah, but yeah, welcome. I wanted to bring you on, talk about something about your music that you do and everything.
Yes, sir.
I know that before you did this, you did a couple other things, and you made a couple of changes here and there. Readjusted a little bit. We were just talking about this before the podcast that this is now your full-time gig, right?
Correct. As of 8 months ago,
Yeah.
This is full time now.
And how's business?
Business is amazing. This year, as in DJ world, you book yourself years out. Literally,
Yeah.
it sounds
Yeah.
weird,
Yeah.
but your main schedule for the most part is at least a year out.
Yeah.
At least a year. So in the industry I was in, logistics, my 9 to 5 type of deal, I saw that, the amount of bookings that I started having, which is this year, I have, just in wedding terms, 47 weddings.
Just this year.
Just this year.
That's 47 days out of the 365 days in the year, huh?
So, and that's
pretty good.
pretty much, from the beginning. I think I just played my 13th or 14th wedding. That doesn't include, different events that happen on a Thursday or Friday that I saw that I got booked for. And
If you're at 47, there's only 52 weekends.
yeah, it's every weekend.
And it's Saturday, Sunday probably.
And
right?
I have weddings on Thursdays. I have some weddings on Mondays.
Okay, that makes sense.
Very interesting. Who has a wedding on a Monday?
People want to save money.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, just like
That
people on a
makes sense.
Friday or
Fridays, Saturdays are still kind of prime, but I got some that are on a Thursday. So, if those are more the intimate weddings, they'll have the 70, 80 people.
Yeah,
then they'll book a venue that, is a BYOB, so you pretty much cater your own food, do all the type of things, and it's just cheaper. And then people are able, then they come out to, like I got one coming up in Michigan, and same difference. It's on a Monday, or that one's actually on a Monday. So, people either take a 4-day vacation, and kind of weekend, and it's fun.
You got anything this weekend?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, July 4th. Good point. July 4th, no, we're going out of town.
Yeah.
We're going to Galena.
Gotta enjoy the weekend a little bit.
yeah.
100%. Gotta get away from something.
You need to get Tipsy Trailer into those BYOB vendors venues.
Yeah, I just saw them actually pop up. My wife actually sent me a thing, and she, I guess, shared the post or whatever.
Oh, because I was doing a giveaway. Yeah, because I was doing a giveaway. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
How did that giveaway go?
Good. I think we're using it in August. Actually, the person already.
Oh yeah. So you already picked the winner and everything.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Picked a winner, and then secretly I did a couple extra winners, like second and third place. So I messaged those people privately, like thanks. I got an overwhelming amount of people that entered and shares and subscribers or followers or whatever.
Yeah.
I was like, I might as well throw it out there if they want to use it or anything like that. And then the people that did reach out during that week as well, I also gave them a little bit of a discount just if I'm like just for reaching out during the giveaway time, because everybody else was like waiting for them to see if they won or not. Yeah, maybe I'll win. Which, hey, I get it.
100%.
But some people, but some people still just reached out, and I'm like, and then for those people, I messaged them back, and I'm like, hey, thanks for reaching out during it. Here's,
So anything extra out of that so far? Not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah, that's gonna take some time for sure.
It's exposure.
It's exposure.
But the people that I did reach out to, One person one person wanted to book, but it was the weekend I leave to Poland, so I couldn't make it. Unless Paul, you're trying to bartend.
Dude, you're gonna get such a bad review after I bartend, dude. Bro, I can't even hold two glasses together sometimes. How am I supposed to make a drink?
You only need one glass for a drink, bro.
That's true. Are you gonna pre-make the drinks before you go?
Nope.
No, I'm good. I'm
No,
good.
but they're just like, oh, don't even worry about it. They're like, I have so many other events. I guess she does nails or something like that. She's like, I have so many other events that we could definitely use you for.
Those are the best. If you can find somebody that does like consistently like does some kind of events, and then you can catch on to that and work well with that person, whoever it may be. That's where it starts. That's where the real
I also might have my first potential corporate booking, right?
Yeah.
Which is interesting because I haven't done one of those yet, and it's just interesting all the extra stuff because you need to be safe and stuff. So all the insurance stuff like that. It's not on private property anymore. So or I guess it kind of is, but then also the company.
It just requires more.
The company needs to be safe as well, and I get it.
Yeah.
Right. So
if you make the drinks too strong, then they're gonna have someone's gonna have to take account for that.
Yeah. Well, my boss is always like, when we have a workouting, he's always like, if you need if you're too drunk, I'll pay for the Uber. I don't really care.
That's it. I mean, you have plenty of ways to get home now. I'm sure you see this a lot after parties and shit. How people get home sometimes.
The amount of things that I see, man. If I made a video or pictures before I
you
post,
should just do like
make it anonymous.
Make after party. This is what happens after the party. People crawl on the floor and roll on the ground, and that's like our cousin.
When I used to bartend at banquet halls, you seen some stuff, right?
Yeah, I mean, well, back in the day, even like the most things I've seen, kind of the crazy side is I don't know if obviously my Instagram, I have a niche for a little bit of photography and kind of video.
Yeah, because you used to do photography for a while.
So I did nightlife photography when the whole club scene was popping with promoters doing, hiring photographers to shoot clubs. Pretty much.
That was a while ago already, huh?
A little bit ago. And so back then, I got my camera, and I got the hang of everything, and I'm like, how can I expand this a little bit? So what I ended up doing is I had girls, primarily I was single then. I had girls that, were having parties and a bus, party buses and this and that going in the city. And I was like, everybody's on their phones or whatever. I'm like, how about you just hire me? I come on board and you have me for the whole night and I just shoot you and your friends all night. Whether it's a club with a bus, this and that. So the beginnings are always nice. But dude, the hard drive that I have with pictures from when stuff hits the fan at the club and everything from puking and everything. I'm like, listen, you hired me to capture, I'm gonna capture.
Exactly.
Dan's got blackmail, bro.
Yeah, right.
Probably.
Right.
He's
probably got a folder. Oh, this is a good one. I'm gonna save this one for down the road one day.
Yeah,
that's funny.
He's got a backup of a backup on those.
Is that something that you did? That obviously you got paid for doing it.
Yeah. I mean, at that time I was charging maybe $300-400, but I was single and I was going out on party bus with a bunch of girls.
Right, and they probably wanted to drink with you and stuff anyways.
And the biggest thing was even like I said, my wife is gonna be listening to this, but even back then,
Joanna, it's okay. Yeah. Don't worry. That was the past.
The easiest way, you go to a club and back then it was even whatever Excalibur was out there before all that stuff. You had all these. I was under a vendor, or not a vendor. I was under a promoter that I was under, that was paying me. And I go into these clubs, and there's the VIP sections of these girls that obviously don't want to be talked to, or even really attractive or whatever, and they'll never give a time of day to somebody, right?
Yeah.
As soon as you come with the camera, oh my God, come over here. And it was such an icebreaker, and again, it was years back, but like I said, if you give a business card, and there was other photographers that were more scumbaggy that we're using you could be a model, let's do a photo shoot, this and that, and it's it becomes this one-on-one connection because then instantly you get a number, instantly you get it's just it's
that can
it was a
good approach, but in terms of like those guys who are scumbags, good approach, but probably the end result was probably not so good.
Yeah,
I mean,
depends.
I was gonna say it's similar. It's like when I used to bartend. When I still bartend, right? I mean, obviously now got a girlfriend, so I don't, don't kill me. But back in the day when I used to, bartend at like I said, a banquet hall, people would come up to you and and I was just always myself, so I was always joking around, be like, "Oh, can I get a drink?" I'm like, "No, what the fuck?" But it's you make people laugh, they remember you, and then obviously you get more tips and stuff like that. And I mean, similar situation, girl. You start a conversation with a girl or something.
I got a question for you on that in terms of the bar. So if you're the bartender, right,
Yeah.
and then you have a guy who comes up and tips you like let's say $20 for like one.
You'll
drink
remember
or-
his drink, yeah.
You?
Absolutely.
You really?
I also have a very good memory. So I will remember everybody, even if like you don't tip
Does
me
he
that much.
does he give another $20 a second drink?
No. But like at the end of the night,
But
sometimes.
that night comes back with 100.
Yeah. Trust me, that happens all the time.
If that it was a good night and you took care of this dude or lady or
Mhm,
whoever it may be,
Or he took care of his wife or whatever.
yeah,
and it's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
you
or
know.
his group of people, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. But also, that person that gives you $20 in the beginning, usually when they walk up, they don't have to ask me for another drink.
Yeah.
I see them walking, and I'm already making it.
Hmm.
Right?
Damn. So what happens when I give like a $5 tip? You remember my drink?
You know what?
I go up to the bar one time during the night. All right, so that's about it.
Yeah,
The
then
rest
you
of
ask for the tip back. What the?
What are you
This guy
talking
puts
about?
a 20 in my jars. I want it back later.
It's gotta be a good impression, dude. You gotta everybody remember to get a tip, dude.
That reminds me of the whole tip situation. I was at church years back at a Christmas mass, the Lithuanian mass, for Christmas
Yeah.
Eve. Christmas Eve.
What did that do to you? Come on.
Yeah. I know.
It's like this fucking shelf trying to beat me up last week.
So, we're and like for Lithuanians in that big church, it's like that one yearly gathering because
Yeah.
Polish people go to church more than Lithuanians, I've noticed. And for Christmas Eve, it was kind of a meeting point. Everybody comes up with the best jackets, the best
Yeah.
sweaters,
Yeah.
the best belts.
That's every Sunday for Polish people.
So, and
We had this
everybody's
conversation last week.
everybody's in the back greeting each other, more so just like, oh, good
Yeah,
seeing
yeah.
you, whatever. And this one guy, I guess the collection basket was going around, and it wasn't a basket, it was the guy that was physically
Yeah,
doing
yeah,
it.
yeah.
So he pulls out 100, and then he throws it in there, and he's going for change. And
Yeah,
then from
yeah,
the
yeah.
basket, so the collection guy is like, no, what are you doing? He pulls it back and makes a scene, and I'm just like, oh my god, like,
That's hilarious.
That's
but just
hilarious, dude.
to physically see that, I was like, dude,
So
Yeah.
what do you do in that situation?
I don't know, man.
Well, so like when people do that to me, they ask me before. They're like, "Hey, I only have 100. Do you mind if I take like a few 20s?" I'm like, "Yeah, dude."
But how are you
you're
gonna ask
fine."
that in church?
Yeah, church is crazy. He put it in.
Yeah,
He's going in for
that's
it.
why. That's
That's
why I
what-
make sure I have loose bills.
Well, listen, if I don't give anything. I'm not gonna throw 100 in there, bro. You know what I mean? Like
That's 4% of your income, bro. That's how much you're supposed to give to the church.
4% of my income.
Yeah.
How does the church know how much money I make?
God knows. God's watching.
That's
Damn, he's probably got a calculator up there, huh? It's like, this week you made this much money.
With the
You
little
are-
receipt paper coming out.
You owe me this much this week. I wish I could get a reminder for that. How much it was? I get the envelopes that they come in every
Oh,
month.
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
So I always have one for that weekend if I go to church, and I put obviously I usually put a 20. I think a 20 is fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
I'll support the church. I don't
Yeah.
there's a reason for that, right? There's a whole reason why that happens. I mean, at the end of the day, but yeah, that situation where you drop 100 in the basket, then you try to get change. I don't know.
I've never seen that situation.
Yeah, that was
but-
one time I saw it.
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah,
I was like speechless, and they got into a little conflict, and I just kind of didn't pay attention. I was like,
I'm in church.
yeah, I don't know.
You're not supposed to argue in church, I guess.
I don't know if he gave him back a 20 or he
Yeah,
just
yeah.
gave him back the 100. I mean,
Bro, that's crazy.
What if it's somebody that like doesn't have a lot of money to begin with, and like that 100 is a lot to them, and they're just trying to be nice and they're trying to put in a 20,
Most
right?
of the time when people don't have money, they don't carry hundreds on them.
Well, yeah, but like you
Yeah,
never
I
know.
mean,
the worst thing I saw at church though, so I'm an organist, right? I played
Yeah.
at St. Camillus.
Yeah,
Yeah, you did you?
I played for St. Camillus for what, 16 years?
Dude, that's where I got my communion.
Exactly. There you go. Before
Yeah.
it closed down. So I still play at St. Faustina in Chicago.
Really?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you still play? So
I
you
still every Sunday.
really?
One mass though. Before I had 3 masses, now I got one.
You got other things
But
to do.
in St. Camillus, Father Wacław Fleck,
Yeah.
Yeah.
he was, I don't know, he's still retired or what he's doing. But he had told me when there was one parishioner that used to come into church and in the collection basket, rip a $1 bill, give one half of it on one Sunday and the other half another Sunday.
No way.
And that was the actual thing. I actually asked one of the collecting guys, I'm like, is he serious? He's like, yeah. I'm like, dude. I mean, that's even worse than
what
giving
it-
change or something. I mean, I
Yeah,
don't know.
just give 50 cents, bro.
But yeah, he rips $1 and he gives one of the pieces, and like they always had it to set to the side, and when they count the money,
And then they had,
But you know what?
The
and
other
they
one.
just taped
That's
it
how
up. And
that's how they kept track of attendance.
half. So he's like, hey, is he all
He
right?
didn't come this
Yeah.
week.
Is he all
Where's
right?
the half dollar at?
Exactly.
Where's he at? That's crazy too. I mean, like I said, that's just I know knowing what church is and how church is.
Yeah.
That's just a situation I would not want to be in for sure.
Yeah.
And people looking at you. What are you doing? Why are you taking money out of the basket?
Especially if they didn't see you throw the money in.
Yeah,
They just think
and
you're
then you're
taking the
looking-
20 out.
Yeah.
But tips are a big thing for any industry. I feel like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
I mean, even for the
100%.
DJing side, I mean, you know, that's my bread and
I
butter.
get.
I
I
never-
get the
I never-
tips. I just don't get the tip culture like nowadays, like today.
Yeah. I
Bro.
like go to Starbucks and tip the person for what, doing your job.
Yeah. What the? Yeah.
Like no offense, you know, like
They spin the screen around for you, and it says 10, 15, or 20% tip. I'm like, no tip.
I
I'm
hit
like,
skip every time.
what the hell?
How about
What
how
am
about
I
that
tipping you for?
How about that meme where the dude is like, I was at Subway and he goes, and you know, I finished my sandwich. We got to the thing. It's like a tip. He goes, we literally made the sandwich together. Like, what the fuck am I tipping you for? Like, we literally went step by step, and I actually built it with you.
I
had the brains of the operation.
Yeah.
You just had the hands.
I actually have something to say about Subway now, but I get to that in a second. But yeah, dude, that was even like I was at Smoothie King today, and like I'm like, it says the tip. I'm like, no. I'm like, you're doing your job.
Yeah, dude. Like if you did something specific for me, like let's say,
Like outside of your regular scope of work.
yeah, exactly.
Yes, right.
Hey, take this coffee and I don't know, shake it for 5 minutes in the corner over there. So that is good. I'll give you a tip for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. But otherwise, your job is to make the coffee, give
Yeah.
me the coffee, and you know
That's it.
that's
you,
it.
You literally get paid
Your
to
job's
do.
done.
You literally get paid to do that.
No.
Yeah.
Why
Exactly.
should you
That's
make
your job.
extra
Yeah.
money?
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, I'm when I worked back at a liquor store, I mean, sometimes I would get tips, but it's like, yeah,
but
because
it's different.
I'm loading up 6 kegs into your truck, like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
that's a lot of work.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I could easily be like, nah, you do it yourself. I even went to a party once because they couldn't tap a keg.
That wouldn't be a very good. That wouldn't be a very good guy for
Yeah.
working at the liquor store not to help you load up, dude.
Dude, I once had to drive to somebody's house in Burbank and tap their keg because they couldn't tap the keg.
Wow.
Did he give you a tip?
Yeah.
You better get a tip
I
for
was
that.
16.
Oh, so you probably stayed for the party.
There you go.
No, I went back to work, but they called. They're like, "Hey, this tapper isn't working, blah blah blah," and you know, we can't drive over there right now. We need somebody. Can you guys?
We've been drinking.
Can you guys bring another one? How are they drinking if they can't tap the keg?
Maybe they were drinking beforehand. Who knows?
But they're like, "Yeah, I guess." And then so they sent me to go, and I go there, and I'm like, "Hold on, before I give you the other tapper, let me just take this."
Done. $50.
They gave me like $40.
Oh, so it was worth it.
Yeah,
And you're on company time.
and I was on company.
Hell,
Yeah.
that's a win-win right there.
I had the biggest tip I think I can recall, and I don't even know if I call it a tip, but had a situation where I was playing an event, and you know, I have a microphone that anybody can take if you want to make a speech. do
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Had a
When
lady.
they talk like this, like you were saying, like they talk like.
Yeah, exactly. Well, no, yeah, but
No, they start here and they start
yeah,
moving
yeah.
away.
That's the etiquette, right? Start here, but then go down. But lady comes up to me and she's like, "Hey, you know, can I get the mic?" I'm like, "Sure." She takes the mic, and I'm watching her go to the dance floor, and she starts lip syncing and playing with the mic, like just you know,
Yeah,
nothing
yeah.
harmful, dangerous, just you know, lip syncing with her friends, pretending to whatever song was playing. So I'm looking at it, and you know, to me, that's it's a tool, right? If you
Right,
drop it, you
right.
spill it, you know,
Yeah.
because the girls have drinks, you know,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
somebody.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's just not supposed to be there. So I'm like, all right, she's not saying anything. I'm just gonna go back and get it. So I go over there. I'm like, hey, you're not saying anything. Like, no offense. Like, if you want to say something, by all means, but can I have my mic back?
Right.
Okay, sure.
It's not a prop.
So 10 minutes go by, 15 minutes go by maybe, and I'm mixing, doing whatever. The guy comes up to me. He's like, hey, you give my wife the mic? And I'm like she didn't say anything. Like, she can come take it, no problem. But if she's gonna say something. Well, he's like, come on, man. He's just, you know. And I'm like, dude, no offense. It's just my tool. It's expensive. You know,
Right,
it's
yeah.
just, how much is it? He's like, what is it? And I'm like, dude, it's $700. Right? And he's like, all right, whatever. He walks away. Continue playing. I think like one more song in, I'm mixing.
Ain't no
Out
way
of
he comes
nowhere,
back.
he just drops me $700 on my board in front of me. Like, yeah, on my controls. And I look up and he's like, can I have the mic? I'm like, here you go.
Do whatever you want.
So he takes the mic, brings it to his girl, and at that point, you know, that maybe that phase kind of is over. This, you know, it wasn't fun anymore. So she had it for maybe like 2-3 minutes.
And she gave it back.
She comes back, she's like, here you go, thank you, right? And I'm just looking at the 700, and I'm like, what do I say now? And he left, and he didn't, you know, and I just moved the 700 to the side, and I'm just like, I continue playing, and I'm like, I'm not gonna go back to him and be like, here's your money back.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, exactly.
Have him come back.
Yeah.
I played the whole night, 3-4 hours after, like everybody.
Have you
was
seen the
good.
dude after?
Yeah, but we never spoke on it. We never.
So it was just one of those.
But it was one of those.
It was one of those transactions where just like, listen.
I just, I don't know if he was just flexing or I don't know what he was doing.
Maybe he just won $5,000 at the casino and he's like, fuck it.
But it was a nice gesture that he left it, and I think that was to me like the weirdest /tip/ encounter / baller move, just to kind of protect your wife or girl or whatever you are.
Yeah, I had a similar one. This is like literally my second day bartending at a venue, and they put me in like the tiny like parties because they didn't want me to make more money than them. So they put me in this tiny party night, like communion. It was like 50 people, right? I made a lot of money that night, right? I made like $400 in tips, which is a lot for a 50-person communion. That's like.
Damn, bro, that's
pretty
like
good, $2
dude.
a person, right,
Yeah.
or something like that.
I mean, I'm pretty sure it's more like
and
$8
it's
a person.
Yeah, true. But anyways, coming to the end of the night, these guys they're all a little, they're a little drunk,
a little lit,
and I'm closing the bar because at banquet halls you close whenever you close, right? And so they're like, oh, come on, just make us one more drink, blah blah blah. He's like, or just make us another round of shots before you go, blah blah blah. And I'm like.
What do I got to lose, bro?
I'm like,
for being open 5 minutes
so
longer?
I go and I make a whole shaker full of shots, right? And I just put the shaker on the thing. I'm like, I'm closing my bar, but this is
for you guys, yeah.
Come back to clean up, and there's $200 on my bar.
Really? No shit.
I'm like, all right. Did you ever have anybody take a tip back?
No, I've actually given a tip back because in my realm of. Whether it's weddings or like I play at a lounge in downtown Burridge.
What is that called?
Are we live?
Are we live?
Yeah,
Michelle
right next to Capri.
Michelle
Shout out
was
Gigi.
just there.
Yeah.
Michelle was just there
Yeah.
last weekend
Okay.
for bachelorette party.
Yeah.
if I'm not
Oh, that's
mistaken.
the place they were at?
I think that's what they were at. I'm pretty sure that's where. Because she's like, yeah, Don plays there. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, so same owner that owns Capri Italian restaurant is same owner that owns that, and like you can get the same food pretty much at both places. So when they're overly booked at the other one, you can go to the Are We Live? Is they serve the same food, everything else. Yeah,
place across the street.
Yeah, but so it really depends on where I'm playing in regards to tips and everything else. But I've had situations where people come up to me, mid playing again. It's loud. I got headphones on, whatever, and people come up for requests, and then somebody will just drop a 20, and you don't believe the amount of people that don't know artists, song names, or anything. And I shit you not. I mean, this happens. I don't know, 5 times out of 10 events probably that people come up and they go.
Beatboxing.
No, $20, yo, and they'll tell me in Lithuanian or English, whatever, right? That one song, na 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 na, and they're just like, you got it, right? And I'm just like, no. I'm like, who's singing? Like, who's the artist? At least give me like, no, it's that new one, bro. It's like it's a banger, na 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 na, and they just leave, and like the 20's sitting there, and I'm like, bro, I mean,
I don't know the song, dude.
I don't know what you want.
You're better than most. I was at Pollyanna a few weeks ago.
Well, hold on, you didn't finish.
Oh yeah.
No, but I mean, bottom line is like, and then when they come back, they're like, yo, you didn't play my song, bro. And I'm like, here's your 20 back. You don't know the song.
Yeah.
You bring me the song. You find
like,
the song.
it on my phone.
YouTube, like whatever. Like, obviously in this day and age, I have abilities to do mix and play anything you want from anywhere. I mean, as long as it's some internet
sound file,
anywhere. You know what I mean? Even if it's not a sound file to like an MP3, even if it's on YouTube, I mean, I'll stream it, I'll download it, I'll rip it, I'll do whatever on the spot. Because if you can't do that in 2025, you should be a DJ. Realistically, I mean, seriously, there's in this technology age, to say that you can't take a request or it's not in your set, that shouldn't be a word, and especially if somebody's offering you money.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? So,
yeah. I was I forgot where the other
Pollyanna.
Oh yeah, I was at Pollyanna. I was gonna say you're better than most. I was at Pollyanna, and there was this guy doing live music, and it was me and my girlfriend and Slamba, and her favorite artist is
Martha's gonna blink.
Nah.
I know it's the Cody Johnson.
The
painter, right?
The painter. It's a good song. Good song.
That's her favorite song.
That's a great song.
Anyways, and I go up to him and I'm like,
play that song that he does this.
I put a 20 in his jar. I'm like, hey, can you play any Cody Johnson? He's like, I don't even know who that is. I'm like, he's literally the country music, country artist of the year. Like, how do you not know who he is? Especially because you were just singing a Luke Combs song. Like, so I'm like, well, how about some Morgan Wallen? He's like, no, I don't know who that is either. I'm like, this guy's fun. And then he starts trying to give me stickers and stuff. And I'm like, dude, I'm on my 20 bag. When am I gonna be rude and go in there and grab my 20 bag?
Yeah.
You know.
For live music, I mean, it's different. Obviously, if you know it, you know it. You know what I mean? So I respect.
Well, some people can pull it up, right?
Yeah, I
because
mean,
he was playing off of a.
If you're good enough, if you're an actual
True,
musician,
true.
you know what I mean. So there's guys that only learn a handful of things, and I guess those are same people that same it goes for like a DJ realm. When you look at bigger DJs that only have what they have.
Yeah, right.
So any of these like artists that you would think that they're world renowned, they wouldn't be able to pull off a 6-7 hour fun wedding that's not in their niche. So obviously
that's true.
To maybe help that guy that was playing a guitar, maybe his style is I don't know, alternative, for example, and you ask him for country.
Yeah,
he might not know anything about country.
Well, I realized because he was playing a country song and walked in, right? And so that's why I was like, oh, maybe he has Cody Johnson, right? And I think what it turned out is that he was with a group of friends, or a group of friends were supporting it, and the girl was singing a Luke Combs song, and I was like, maybe he just learned that song so she can sing, right? And I'm like, whatever. I'm like, it's $20. It's not gonna kill me or anything. I'm like,
it was nice gesture.
Yeah.
Donation.
Yeah.
But even in the DJ world, like, I mean, like for example, everybody has niches, right? So I would never go into a party.
You wouldn't go to Tomorrowland and DJ?
I would. No, I could pull something off like that. That's fine. I mean, like in regards to like the type of music, tech house, electric house, that type of deal.
That kind of music, right?
EDM. I mean, that's all fun to mix. But like when it comes to certain hip hop, like I would never go into a hip hop party. Can I play hip hop? You know what I mean? Like I mean, I have the top bangers of like all the hip hop. I could mix the songs all good, but I wouldn't be as free feeling as what I going for the niche. Exactly. We all, even though you can play everything, it's just
there's certain things that just work, that flow better.
Yeah. So like I would never go into like a full Hispanic party. You know what I mean? Because again, it's the language barrier, and that's where it's funny for me not being Polish, and now 85% of my clientele is some sort of Polish.
Yeah.
And that was the gatekeeping kind of gate opener, I should say, was my wife. Which kind of got me in the thing. In regards to the Polish world,
because she speaks Polish, she's Polish, obviously, right?
There's their announcements in Polish.
So the way that I kind of got into the Polish world is obviously, like I said, before her kind of getting me the language opening, and obviously before me meeting her when I met her, we started going to numerous Polish parties, and this is before all her friends were married. So it was weddings on weddings on weddings on
weddings. We
partied
together before.
Yeah, exactly. It was just it was just christenings, baptisms of some sort, and I was again, Lithuanian and Polish languages are like English and Chinese.
Yeah, they're very different.
We only swear the same.
Yeah,
right.
I can say
from the Russian side, right?
Yeah.
We have the same curse words. So when I started sitting there, having the market of like the Lithuanian side, American side of who I knew and that I played with, Polish was not in my book at all. Like I knew no songs. So naturally hearing these things consistently at a wedding, I'm like, all right,
you start picking it up.
Similar, well, not necessarily pick it up, but like I heard that a lot of the songs were repetitive. I'm like, okay, for example, like the tanch, like it's it's now it's a staple, and it's been a staple as an example. But my whole thing was I got hired by a Lithuanian lady to do a christening. And again, she called me Lithuanian, says, hey, blah, 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 we're going to do this thing. And
because you speak Lithuanian
fluently,
right?
Fluently. I speak Lithuanian and English. And I come to the hall to set up, and it wasn't anything big. It was at the, I forgot the name of the restaurant that's closed down. But anyway, I get there, and being at the weddings that I've been to, she was Lithuanian. I'm looking at the table. Every table has a bottle of Titanuvka on it. And like, this is prior me being with my girlfriend, obviously, at the time, which is my wife now, but I had nothing to do with Polish music. She wasn't a part of the Polish world in regards to, entertainment or any of that. And I see, the first couple arrive, and that couple speaking Polish to each other. Second couple arrives, third couple, kids arrive, everybody's, and I don't make fun of the Polish thing, but to me, it's like, ship, 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 everybody's ship, ship, ship. And I'm like, dude, why is there so many Polish people here? Which is awesome, but I'm like, this is kind of weird. So then the lady comes in, and I'm like, hey, the Lithuanian lady. She's like, oh, hi, Lithuanian, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, hey, how you doing? I'm like, what's going on? Why so many Polish people here? And she's like, oh, my husband's Polish, my daughter speaks Polish, we all speak Polish, this is pretty much Polish. I'm like, and in my head, I'm like, this is a 7-hour party. Okay.
Yeah.
And I start seeing more and more people start coming in, and the whole place starts getting filled, and everybody's speaking Polish, and I'm like, and I'm sweating. I'm like, all right, let me see. You know, okay, it is what it is. She hired me. She knew what she was getting into. She knew I was in Polish. She knew I wasn't, you know, in the Polish music. So dinner's over, lights dim out, and as a DJ, and obviously playing for the European world, Lithuanians and everything, I have every DJ I think has libraries of go-tos.
Yeah.
You have a certain go-to in the 80s, certain go-to in the 90s, certain in the 2000s, certain European, certain Italian, whatever. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna hit him with these. Let's just start it off the party like, you know, ABBA's, you know, every like whatever. Because
so songs that everybody knows.
The universal songs.
Something universal, European liking, whatever. I hit him with the first song. Nothing. And again, lights are dim, you know, and then it's like the first one is like.
And your biggest reaction is if people are dancing.
I have to follow because as a DJ, you literally, once you play the first song, you literally, unless you have an active floor to where, you know, there was something going on or like the people that hire you, whether it's a wedding, it depends on the event, but if you're pretty much looking to scout who's going to start dancing, you got to kind of vibe, okay, whose foot is moving, whose shoulders moving,
right.
Who's having the best time? Is
you
it
the, look around,
is it the 50-year-old? You know, is it the 20-year-old? Is the 70-year-old? You know, you got to kind of break that ice to somebody get on the floor. So I hit him with this whatever first song, and nothing's happening. And second song, I'm like, all right, I'm going to do this banger. Nothing's happening. Bro, 4 songs in, I'm sweating. I mean, I was standing in the corner, and I'm like, what do I do? And like these people are kind of looking around, you know, not directly at me, but I could feel views of like, you know,
you can feel the comments
maybe questioning like why, like maybe because they can't tell from like the outlook that I'm maybe not Polish, you know?
Yeah.
But they're like, you know, why is he maybe not playing, you know? So at that time, I text my then girlfriend, which is my wife now, and I'm like, Asha, I'm like, yo, give me a Polish song. No, seriously, I texted her, and she was at a wedding, and I'm like, give me a song, a Polish, like a popular one, right? Because I didn't have any titles. And the first song she sent me was Accents, that Zielone song with the Green Eyes, right? So, and I'll never forget that song, right? Yeah. So she hits me that title, right? And as like I have something playing, I'm sweating bullets. I'm ripping it off YouTube instantly, like live, from there.
Right.
Boom, I play it. Everybody up. And I just took like.
But now you're probably more nervous though.
Not even more nervous, dude. Now I'm thinking to myself,
where do I go from here?
I have 6 hours of this. What do I do? And I don't speak the language.
Yeah.
So I text her again like that. MSC, it worked, and I didn't have time. I played something else, and it kind of broke the ice. Yeah. And I'm like, please give me another one, right? And thank God she was at a wedding. She took her phone, and she just started passing around to people at the table. Start typing in names, right?
Yeah.
So these songs just keep coming in, and I'm sweating my ass off. I'm downloading, ripping. I'm ripping live, bro. Worst experience of my life in regards to like the 6 hours, how it dragged, because that was pretty much my throw into hot water into the Polish world.
Yeah.
After that party happened, because I was blindsided.
Yeah.
Full on blindsided.
Right.
That was probably a long ass night, wasn't it?
It was a freaking long ass night.
I would think it would like pass right by.
No, not. I mean,
it was just because you consistently like people don't understand like when you hire a DJ, right? From a DJ's point, we don't count songs, but you gotta understand how many songs fit into an hour.
Yeah.
How many things?
That's a lot.
It's like 20, 25 songs.
Yeah, you gotta. How many songs you have to consistently pump to pretty much keep the floor alive? You know, there is no Spotify playlist that's gonna just go. Like you literally have to kind of read and see what demographic is on the floor.
Yeah.
Who's moving? Do you go old school? Do you go to, like what I call like the farm style music? Like Lithuanians have like what I call like the older, kind of farm.
Like good house.
So there's like these, old school bangers that are just like very,
popular.
Farm, exactly. And then, obviously there's, so it's like, it's very hard to gauge that, but that was my pretty much throwing into the water and
trial by fire.
Yeah, when I came home, and I told my wife, I was like, or Joanne, I was like, listen, I think there's a niche for this for me, but I'm like, I need to get into the Polish world to see music wise, and then I think for the solid like 3-4 months, I was just not studying, but I mean
listening,
researching top stuff in Polish, top this, top that. And then I kind of threw her under the fire because obviously we were together for quite a while. And I'm like, listen, like, I need your help with this because I started getting, more like,
Requests
oh,
and
well,
stuff, yeah.
you're a DJ. Can you come in and do a whatever for me? And I'm like, well, I don't speak. And I'm like, well, maybe Joanna could say something in Polish. And then, she was scared of the mic. She never touched the mic. She was never a public speaker. And I threw her under the bus too. I was like, listen, we're going to be together. There's going to be a future here. You got to help me. And she was on board, and, she started kind of looking at kind of a way to, break the ice in regards to script or whatever. And yeah, that's how we started. And like I said, it kind of branched out to now. It's crazy that, like I said, 85% of my business is literally mixed in Polish or full Polish.
Yeah.
And I'm not scared of it anymore. I mean, I really don't care. I've had events where, you come in, kind of look at the thing, and you think that the demographic is going to be a bad party, but it turns out to be the best party.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah. You definitely, as the DJ, as being part of the event, you definitely got to read the room.
You keep the party alive.
Yeah, but that's the thing,
It's
right?
the only thing.
That's like the most important job at the party is
Right.
the music has to be right. The beat has to be right. The feel of the party has to be right. You don't always necessarily get the feel of the party.
Yeah.
You don't always get it like, where it's like, it's awesome, it's shitty, whatever.
Yeah.
It is what it is. But the music has got to be playing, regardless of that situation, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure you've seen plenty of fucking fights break out.
Oh, fights is
in the
different-
middle of the
different
dance
worlds.
floor and crap like that. So
I've had halls on halls. Actually, I did one wedding a few weeks ago where there was two weddings. The wedding I was at and the wedding that was behind the wall, pretty much.
where was this, at Belvedere?
No, this was at I don't know if I should say it even.
You don't have to. It's okay.
So anyway, I was playing a Polish-Lithuanian wedding, and there, across the other room was a Bosnian Polish wedding.
Okay.
Okay.
And the Bosnians rolled up, like when I was loading up my stuff, they rolled up full flags on the hood. I mean, they were rolling hard, like I've never seen, right? And liquor gets involved. These weddings are until 2.
Cultures clash.
Yeah, it's cultures, Lithuanians, whatever. Everybody has some sort of pride. And, I look at it this way. Like, once you get into the 1 to 2 a.m. mark, you're not really left with too much quality.
Yeah.
Put it that way. I mean, to put it nicely.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
100% agree.
it's not, I mean, people that stay until 1 or whatever, not to say, but it's just a lot of them are just overly drunk. Or, and
The leftovers.
banquet hall people, that bartenders or, even waiters or whoever work there, they could
know.
vouch for it
You know.
too.
Yeah.
They know. We're in the industry, right?
Yep.
We know what's out there. And like I said, I'm not calling anybody out specifically. It's just the fact that, that's what it is. But, these, and obviously Europeans being Europeans, everybody's, harder than everybody. And I'm rolling out my cart at 2, I think it was like the time, like 2:45, almost 3 in the morning. And I'm pulling out, and I just hear insane screeching and screaming outside. I run out. 2 guys from my wedding that I knew, but I just knew of
Yeah.
the
Yep.
event, going at it. The other side's wedding, Bosnians, Polish, everybody is just going at it to an extent. I mean, I got in it to try to help to break stuff up, but then it's 3 in the morning. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
it's not pretty. But I mean,
At that point, just go like this. Fuck it.
yeah, I mean, I had to try to help to do whatever I could, but it wasn't, to be honest, like out of fights though, there is not too many fights.
Not lately.
Usually, no.
Surprisingly.
These aren't
Yeah.
the times that they used to be back in the day.
And
Like,
even the lateness though, the lateness has not been what it's been. When people think a hall's until 3 a.m.,
Not anymore.
we're gonna fucking party. No, you're not.
Yeah.
Even if the music is whatever, I mean, unless like I've had parties where the main demographic is like 20 to 23.
yeah. Then they're gonna
Those are
party.
the ones that are gonna go
Yeah,
hard.
yep.
Yeah.
But that's a really rare party because
Yeah.
those are, they're not the ones that pay the most or whatever the case may be. So
Yeah.
But realistically, like for adults that think they're gonna go hard, bro, midnight ish. I mean, people are already either
Guilty
like,
as charged.
you know, it's
1 o'clock. I'm like, bro, I'm getting out
Yeah.
of here, bro. Unless I've been, unless I'm really having a good time with a
Yeah.
bunch of like friends of mine that
Yeah.
are still staying and we've all
Yeah.
been, drinking or whatever.
yeah.
Maybe, but otherwise, and that rarely happens nowadays. We're talking, difference of 20
Yeah.
years. Dude, when I was 17 or 18 or
Oh, yeah.
whatever, different times.
I mean, even when I was 24, I was still out till 4 or 5 in the morning.
yeah, I mean, yeah, 100%. But now you get older and you get
Yeah.
smarter, I think. And
It's not the same, and it's surprising to me. Like I said, some people.
well, today's people are just different.
Oh yeah, no, this generation is just a whole bunch of messed up, dude. I don't know.
Not all of them.
Not all of them, but I mean, it's just I see it. Like I said, in regards to even like the whole partying side, it's not
the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, like we were saying a few weeks ago, like you don't really see house parties much anymore, or anything like that. I mean, then again, we're not invited to them anymore because we're probably old. But like you used to you used to drive by a house, you'd be like, yeah, that place throwing a rager right
when
now.
when there was the night when I was like 18 to 20, and it was a weekend. At night, anywhere you would go, there would be a house party somewhere in the vicinity. Anywhere. Those days are long gone.
Yep.
I mean, how many house parties did we fucking throw? Oh,
one every other week.
Yeah, dude. I mean, we just,
well, there was 5 of us living at home, and we're all 6 years apart. So similar friend groups. They intertwined at some point or another. But then all of us are young, and all of us want to have a party.
You invite your friends, I invite my friends, we'll invite your friends. And
we had a limit to how many people you can invite.
Yeah, dude.
No, for sure.
Yeah, but those days are, I think, days are gone.
It's just like the I guess what you would want to consider the youth, right? Even let's see for me looking at 18-year-olds. When I was 18, the first day I was 18, I got my motorcycle's license, right? Legally. Yep. I mean, I'm not a car guy. I mean, in regards to like being a mechanic or anything like that, I'm a car guy. Like anything
cars,
with motors, I'm a fan. But you look at 18-year-olds now, like there's no more motorcycle shops. Nobody's surviving. Nobody's buying bikes, right? Harley's barely staying afloat. I mean, the motorcycle community is not even like or automotive.
Not what it used to be.
Archer and stuff. That used to be everybody used to come out with everything they had the most. Now it's like what you just have like the little group that all they do is just drifting and burnouts or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think with like Archer, for example, they probably still do it other places. Archer's just so far now because not a lot of people live in that area anymore, right? If anything, more people live out here. But I agree with you.
But that whole scene is
scene is dead.
Dead. I'm not sure if that's ever going to come back the same way again. Maybe it will. Maybe
you're in the sales world of parts and stuff. I mean, what's your clientele in regards to like
young people? A lot of young people, but also it depends on the cars. If it's going something like more higher end, like GTRs and shit like that, it's usually some people like my age, maybe a little bit older. GTRs are between like 30 and 50.
Yeah,
that's what those guys are at. There's a couple guys above 50s where they got GTRs, but they're doing like 2,000 horsepower GTRs and shit like that. That's some crazy shit. Stuff like that. But otherwise, like the smaller, like the cheaper cars, the kids are still in it. They're in it. I mean, I deal, nationwide, technically worldwide, with parts. So for me, it's hard for me to read the exact how the scene really looks like today. A lot of drifting.
I think I'm just seeing more, from the social media side, right? I mean, we got TikTok, we got all this stuff.
Yeah. And it happens. It
happens, but these takeovers that are happening, or whatever, all this other crap.
No.
Even the Polish people that took over for what was it, the Polish Independent or the Polish Flag Day?
Yeah.
They went in Schaumburg and they closed out the streets of Woodfield, and
I
was so surprised.
Yeah, did that happen?
That literally, to that level, like before cops come, you leave.
Yeah.
These Polish dudes are waving a flag and they're just pushing the squad car, and I'm like, dude, like, has this what come into? Like, I don't know.
Are we coming back to this?
Yeah,
but this doesn't. That used to never happen.
No,
cops showed up, but
you were scared of cops.
But you know why? There's different times, bro.
Cops weren't scared. Cops weren't scared.
Nobody.
Bro, I got my ass beat.
Nobody had body cams.
Yeah.
I got my ass beat at a car meet one time by a cop. For fucking being a smartass,
Like 42nd and Plasky and.
I've been there. Yeah. I've been there. I had to run away from there.
I was at Wendy's.
No, Wendy's was where we hung out on Archer.
But that was fun though. You know what I mean? I don't think that anybody really does that anymore. Like I said,
because back in the day, people didn't sit at computers and play games.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Right.
Whoa.
But I'm just saying, man, that's the truth, man. I mean, back in the day, like talking like 15 years ago, 20 years ago, when I was in my 20s, that'll be like 17 years ago. People didn't really sit at home and game.
No.
That wasn't really an option. They actually got made fun of if they sat at home and played games. Get your ass outside, go do something, go get a shitty car and go fucking do stupid shit to it.
Yeah.
And that's the way it was.
Neons.
Well, bro, I had neon. Listen, bro. Neon, underglow, the scissor doors, Lambo doors.
Oh, bro,
that's a little too much.
Yeah,
Paul had the Lambo.
Listen,
Paul had those 50-pound door. I could barely open those doors up.
First of all, that door was fucking 50 pounds because the hinge was broken. All right? So that's why that was. Somebody backed up into my car.
I was also like 12.
I don't know. Somebody fucked up my car at that time. But back in those days, you didn't sit at home. You didn't. If you weren't in the cars, You still didn't sit at home.
No.
Yeah.
You went out. You did some whatever.
You went to
sat
the
in
skate park.
You went to the skate
whatever.
park. You went to the park. You sat in the park for a couple hours till night. Whatever. Hung out with your friends.
Yep.
Whatever. Did some whatever the hell you did. Right.
Yeah.
Nowadays that doesn't really happen. You don't see really kids at the,
You-
park anymore at night.
but
Playing
not
ball
as much.
sometimes maybe you'll see
Maybe.
those guys.
Rarely.
You know? But
You know,
rarely.
you know what I think is another factor is that all these like on TikTok and on social media where all these kids see this stuff, all they see is those people that are flexing their Lambos or McLarens or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And so now these lower end fun cars aren't as attractive to them because they're looking at Lambos the whole time, right? Where they don't see like I'm still in love with Mazda Speeds. You will say that they're a piece of shit, but I miss both my Speeds, and I still want one. In the future, I will have one. But like the younger people, they don't see that because all they see on YouTube and stuff like that
Yeah.
is people showing off.
But also, I think the
higher-end
another
cars.
perspective from that though is it does make some people work harder because they
sure,
want that.
sure.
Right. So there are certain people that will see it a different angle and be like, if he can do it, I can do it.
Yeah.
I just gotta put the effort in. But that's rare. That's a lot more.
But then you ask, what does that person do? You know, to,
yeah,
to,
well,
to,
exactly.
to make
Yeah.
that.
But then
know
you
what I
start
mean?
looking at it.
I rent the
listen,
car.
You look,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, that's the thing.
Yeah.
So I know a guy.
There's Turo.
I know a guy, a business guy that I know that I recently talked to. Do they rent cars with watches?
There you go. I've heard of watch rentals.
You rent a car,
Yeah.
and you rent a watch with it, and then you go cruising. You know, go
There you
show
go.
off your fucking blink.
And
for
literally, your
the 2
Instagram
nights or
page is
whatever that
just
you,
this.
and that's it, dude. And that's it. And that's all. You know what it's for? You go on, you take a couple pictures. You know, make a little
Get some
post, get
followers.
some followers. I'm rich. I'm famous. I'm yada 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 yada. And then you make people. Some people take that. It really depends on a person, but some people take that as yo, that's awesome. I want to do the same thing. Or B, that sucks because I can't do that and I don't know how to do it, and that just makes me a person that just makes me I worry. Not that I worry, but it just doesn't give them the drive to make it happen. You know what I mean? Oh, I'll never be like them. Yada yada yada. And then they turn into
That's where mindset comes in.
Well,
right?
that's what it is at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Mindset, right? Like if you really want something and you really put your head down and you really work for it, you probably get there. And you probably maybe will hit a couple of humps along the way, or stumps or whatever, where something will throw you off track. But if you continue, you'll get there, right?
So I buy a couple fun shitty cars on the way there.
I mean, listen, this one guy I know, he started, he had a shitty car. He took that shitty car, he sold it, he made some money on it, bought a little bit better shitty car, fixed it up, sold it, made some money on it, and then at the end he got to a Porsche.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, it happens. It doesn't happen overnight.
I mean,
Yeah.
one of the guys that came to your meet, he pulled up in a McLaren, right? And I was talking to him for a little bit because he thought it was you.
yeah.
As per
The guy who
usual.
keeps driving down my street finally found out who he is.
Yeah, and he's like, is that your GTR? I'm like, no, it's my brother. He's like, oh, but you let him keep it at your house? I'm like, no, that's my brother's too. Anyway, he's like, all right, well, what do you drive? I'm like, I drive that, knockoff Evo, my Rallyart. And he's like, oh, is that a Rallyart? I'm like, yeah. He's like, dude, I had one. I love that thing. He's like, it was a sweet car. And then he's like, I still have my Evo X. He's like,
Evo
that I'm
X.
gonna get buried in. I don't really care. He's like, I love that car to death. And it's like, that is a $20,000 car now compared to his
Yeah,
Two
LT
hu-
LT 600.
yeah, which is like a
LT.
$200,000
Yeah,
car, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like those people but that's probably somebody that early on he was in the cars and he liked them and
Yeah.
everything like
Yeah.
that, right? But it's like those people like just because you can afford nicer cars doesn't mean like don't think about the other ones. Like he probably has a blast driving that Evo, which I wouldn't doubt, right?
Yeah, it's like me and S1000. I hated that car when I first seen it, and I bought it, and I loved it. And I still love that
I
car.
hated it because Paulie had it.
No, I didn't hate it because Polly had it. I didn't like the look of it. It just, I don't know, man. I was in a different kind of cars back then, and S1000 was just not. I think there was one person that had it that I was kind of maybe jealous at the time. So I'm like, that's a reason. Maybe that was part of the reason. Maybe I didn't like it.
Maybe I know who.
But it doesn't matter. But the thing is, it was just the looks of it weren't for me. I wasn't a two-seater kind of guy at the time, right? Convertible at that. Convertible wasn't an option for me when I was a younger kid. I just didn't like it. I liked my sitting in the roof, under the roof, and being cozy in the car, and that's it. So that was more my thing. But now, dude, I love that car. I'm fucking driving. I gotta fix the one I got. God damn it. Anyway, so yeah, as we were saying earlier, those times changed
Same
for
thing.
sure. A lot of things changed. The house parties, the car meets, all the kind of stuff like that. You used to have cars and coffee and stuff like that, which we had our A Solutions cars and coffee. Whoever came out was nice. We enjoyed it.
That's
It wasn't a super big event, but it was enough where we got a little bit of everything. So
And I
That was-
couldn't come because I was freaking DJing. So
that's okay.
You
Your
could have
job's your
DJ'd
job,
at
bro.
the
Yeah.
Cars and Coffee.
yeah.
Next time we have a cars and coffee, we'll let you know. Maybe you
Except
can
it's free
DJ.
that time.
Maybe we'll throw some tips your way.
There you go.
Yeah, but that was fun. It was it was the first one we ever did, and it was interesting. We had a couple of people who show up with some cool cars, so it was fun. But yeah, like I said, those times have changed.
I think
it's never gonna be the same.
You know what even changed now, which I was surprised about, picnics. Not a lot of people go to picnics anymore.
Like what kind of picnics? Like the picnics that we
Polish
throw,
Polish,
like
Polish ones.
Polish picnics.
I actually enjoy those.
Me too.
Those are fun.
I go to every week.
I don't speak any of the language, dude, but I go there. Obviously, the culture's the same. Like we all eat the same.
Yeah.
But I go for the potato pancakes. I
with
tell
the
my
meat
wife,
on top of it? With the meat on it?
No meat.
No meat?
Just
No.
the potato
Just
pancakes,
the-
with some sour cream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've been burned by a few picnics where it's like so watery, and I'm like, what the hell is this? Like, there's no damn consistency of potatoes. I'm like, you just try to milk my money, But yeah,
most of the time the picnics have good food. Most of the time.
Yeah.
There are certain times where certain things are just not good.
Yeah.
I mean,
again, you got to understand them. I mean, you don't go there to expect the best cuisine.
100%.
But I mean, something like a staple like potato
good-
pancakes, I feel like
it's comfort food, right?
I feel like potato pancakes are like the safest bet because it's the same
How
pot
can,
that's
how can you really fuck that up, right?
yeah. it's,
Apparently you
know,
can.
But like I said, I respect it because, like I said, Lithuanians, Polish people, we have all the same cuisine. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe a little bit different names, but we
Yeah.
ideally pretty much eat the same. We
Hey,
celebrate
listen,
the same.
We were one country at one point in time,
Exactly.
so that makes a difference.
There's a history, I guess. Some of my friends were arguing that I guess back in like whatever hundreds,
1600s.
whatever, yeah, which you probably know more than I do, but supposedly Lithuanians gave Polish people potatoes, and that's like something I've held on to in my thoughts.
As in, like that they taught them what they are. or
Supposedly,
whatever?
or I don't ask me the details, but
I thought that was the Irish, bro.
Yeah, wouldn't they just throw it across the pond?
Fuck, I don't know, bro. I mean, whatever, dude.
yeah, but
I mean, listen, the potato is a staple in Eastern Europe.
yeah, big
so
time.
You get potato with every meal.
it's
100
potato based.
when you were, so my mom like told me, and I mean, my grandparents told me, like when times were tough, man, it was just milk and potatoes. That's it.
Yep.
There was nothing else.
Potato. I mean, Lithuanians like I love potatoes with a kefir or whatever, like the
Yeah.
sour milk or
Oh,
whatever.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
like buttermilk.
Buttermilk.
Buttermilk. Yeah.
Like in Lithuanian, we say kefira, so I don't know how you
What
guys.
do
Do you guys do like you put them on a pan? And
Yeah,
then you fry them a little bit.
You
Yeah.
put little pieces,
Little
Yeah,
pieces.
yeah.
Do you throw some onion in there?
onion, and
A little bit
some
of onion,
sausage.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same. I love that.
Oh man, yeah. Oh, man, I'm
But,
getting hungry just thinking about it.
Yeah,
But
That's
'cause
right.
you
That was a
you-
staple Sunday breakfast.
dude, bro. If you know how to make it right, you take potatoes, you take butter, you take onion, you put it all in the pan. You first you cook the potato. First you cook the onion with the butter
Yep.
to make it nice and crispy. Then you throw a potato in, dude, and then you finish off with a cup of buttermilk inside of, dude, all day.
that's why, like I said, for me it was so natural to be in the Polish world. Like I said,
But that's awesome that you were able to make that jump into it because now it provides most of your business,
Oh,
right?
I mean, yeah, and it's consistently growing. I mean, it's like I said, it's unstoppable. I mean, now my wife is not the biggest fan that she has to take so many of her weekends, especially this year, because like I said, with the weddings and everything else, I think out of all those weddings, at least like 35 or some sort of Polish mix where
Right,
where
yeah.
they still want Polish announcements or whatever. And you
Yeah.
know, I'm at the point where I told her I was like, one. I like this is a cool thing for both of us. Like I like being together and doing this together, but I'm like I don't know if I want to hire like another Polish chick
Yeah,
and be with her. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it would be kind of weird. But then I'm like maybe I,
I
should
mean,
just
as long as
learn.
it's just a business relationship.
Yeah,
then
yeah, but I
that's
mean,
what it
Yeah,
is, right?
yeah.
But
I
it's
get
just
what
like
you're
in
saying.
front of people and
Yeah.
stuff because everybody's used to this combo of me, my wife, me,
Yeah.
my wife, and it's like now there's gonna be some other chick, and it's like then
Polish community talks.
yeah, well that too, yeah. So I'm like I might at this point I'm like I might learn to read script of like what she writes me like
Yeah.
because obviously I go over stuff with couples and everything
Dude,
else.
just
So,
have AI say it, dude.
And
yeah,
just do it
just like this right in the
Just
mic.
do it phonetically, like by phonetically, right?
I don't know
where you
even
spell
what that
things out,
means. Yeah.
where it's like cha, sh, right?
Oh.
Like where like it's written in English, but like where when you say it the way it's spelled, actually,
yeah.
it sounds
Oh,
Polish.
okay.
Right?
So not like the actual the way it's written,
Yeah,
but the way you sound it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Father Peter used to do that from Fabian.
That makes
He would
sense.
do a whole speech in Polish, but it was all written out phonetically in English,
Like
so he
gibberish.
can read it. But
Yeah,
the way
yeah,
it came
yeah,
out,
yeah.
it sounded Polish, and it
Yeah,
sounded really
yeah,
good.
yeah.
I
Yeah,
got
bro.
the,
I bet you if you gave me that, I would look at that and be like, what the hell? What language is this?
I got the worst Polish thing that ever happened to me language wise. Again, I don't speak a word of Polish. I know baby talk, right? Because
Yeah.
I've been around my wife's family and nephews and nieces, learning nose, ears, eyes.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
so if you're talking, I could maybe pick up one word and try to guess what you're saying, but that's it's very far between.
Yeah.
But what happened at St. Camilla's? Again, I was an organist there for a lot of years, and there was a funeral, and it was an American funeral, and everything was set. And the funeral director comes up to me during communion, and he's like, "Yo, the family, this person was a third generation or second generation Polish person. Like they want serdeczna matko for the closing." And I'm like, "Shit, all right."
That's a hard song.
Well, I mean, in regards to language, but I'm like, okay, I know how to play it, and because I've played it before,
Yeah.
I've played it before when I had like a cantor or some sort of singer,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I knew the first verse, kind of, sort of, right?
Yeah.
I mean, just to kind of, when you
Yeah,
read
yeah,
when you
yeah,
read
yeah.
music, you kind of look at it, and you kind of go around with it. I'm like, all right, you know what? I'll give it a shot. Like whatever. It's a dead guy. It's I gotta try to respect his wish, right? I'm not gonna not say do it.
What's he gonna do? Get mad?
Yeah. So
Fall out of the coffin.
so get this. So like I'm upstairs obviously, and my back is towards the altar. I'm in the,
Right.
in the thing, and I start playing the intro, and everything is cool. Get into the first verse of it, and I'm like, that's not matko, right? And I get to I think the first maybe 5 words, and the wind blows. And then when the wind blew, it blew my page down. And if you play the organ, you can still hold harmony with your with your feet, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
you play
Yeah,
bass
yeah,
with your
yeah.
feet, and so that didn't kind of screw me up, but it screwed me up literally, like with the text. So I flip it back, and my hand was still. I think I flipped back with this hand because I was still playing the harmony. I flip it back, and I'm looking at the words like in that split second, and I don't know where I'm at, like in regards to the words.
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah,
mean? Like
yeah.
the melody's still on point. What am I supposed to say? So what I did, I back away from the mic and I start making up Polish words to the melody. I shit you not. I start and I'm like, psze, psze, yeah, psze, yeah, psze, psze, yeah, psze. And people are singing downstairs, and like the priest is looking. I guarantee he was looking up, but I didn't notice, right?
You
And I
probably
just-
didn't want him to notice.
And I winged this whole first verse with made up Polish words. All I said was pship, 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 far away from the mic. Because I was like, people are still gonna probably be singing it, right? So I'm like,
Yeah.
and I stopped and I finished they left and they were doing the incensing, and I just played the melody, and I'm just like, oh my god, this is terrible. Like, what did I just do? Like, because I literally made up words that sound Polish.
Yeah.
End the song, pack up all my stuff, and I'm like, I'm not going out there to those people until they leave. So I waited a little bit. The funeral director was lining everybody up. They're about to leave, and I go downstairs, and the priest is there still, and whatever. And the priest is like, "What was that?" With a Polish accent, and I'm like, "Don't ask me." And I'm like, I don't speak Polish. I tried, and they were like, he was like, "What is this? What is this?" And I'm like, don't ask. But that was my worst experience.
Don's
Like,
language, dude.
yeah, it was just literally what I could do to do serdeczna matko. I'm like,
That is
Yeah.
hilarious.
That's
though.
funny as hell. Yeah.
I wish somebody would have recorded that. Like, I just wonder how that sounded downstairs, like over speakers and everything.
People are probably like, this guy's got to be drinking. This guy's had to be
Yeah.
drinking.
Yeah, but
Hey, there's plenty of maybe not so much in America, but in Poland, there's plenty of like guys who play organs.
Yeah.
Who are out drinking the night
Oh, I could
before,
imagine.
Yeah.
and then you can hear
Right.
them like singing, and they're like
well, it happened to me numerous.
missing words and shit.
Not drinking wise, but like at St. Camilla's at 12:30 mass, because I used to play 3 masses there, and 12:30 was the one that like the younger Polish people that didn't want to go to Polish mass,
Yeah.
they came up upstairs and they sat in the pretty much with me. And back then I used to ride crotch rockets, so I used to come up with like my R1 or whatever, and like park it out front, this and that. And there was times where I used to be with the bike like on a Friday or Saturday night at a gas station on Archer.
Yeah.
We're chilling at the BP. And, I take my helmet off, I pull up with like 5 other guys, and I'm in with the jacket, this and that. And then there's another group of Polish guys that I didn't know that rode either, and then I didn't notice, and they come up to me, they're like, dude, we we don't even want to ask, but like, are you like, you look familiar? And I'm like, where from? And he's like, do you go to St. Camillus? I'm like, no, I play the organ there. They're like, get the like, and they're like, you ride a crotch? I'm like, dude, you think I'm a priest? Like, just because I play the organ,
right.
you know? But people were so shocked, like, to just what?
Where did you learn to play the organ?
So my dad is a professional musician. He is a
okay,
concert
so that's
organist
where
by trade.
Okay.
And I came to America when I was 6 years old, and he pretty much told me from when I like pretty within the first year I was here, he's like, I'm gonna teach you piano forcefully. No kid wants to, you know, unless you're born with this talented gift.
Yep.
Forcefully, you're gonna learn. And you know, pretty much, there's money to be made here with it. And I'm not gonna buy you anything in regards to like first car or anything. You're gonna earn it yourself. So from 6 to 15, I pretty much played piano, just from him teaching me. And I think I had my first mass at 16 years old, and that's when I bought my first car by playing at church.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
my
okay.
dad. It
That's
was
awesome.
you know, but it was that pretty much. He threw me in again under fire, kind of like, you're gonna do this, and you know, and it made great money. I mean, for in high school, like I said, I played on Saturdays and Sundays, one mass on Saturday, 3 or 2 on Sunday, and you know, you were still making money. I mean, a mass was like, back then I think it was like about $120 a mass or something. You know, so I came in on a Sunday, you know, play 3 masses, this and that. So I mean, it just all depended, but yeah, that's how I got in it, and that's kind of how I followed into the interest of the whole DJing thing. Kind of fell into, you know, back then it was CDs. You know, it wasn't. It was a harder way of burning music and, you know, organization and this and that. It wasn't as easy as now.
Your CD, the whole book of CDs
I
and
had,
shit.
dude. And
I
it
think
was,
everybody had a CD book back in the day.
yeah, I still have probably like 3 big ass binders that I would probably have to, you know, re-download into CD
digital
and
file,
an MP3 file, that type of deal, because I probably still have, you know, some good bangers, but again, obviously the you know, demographic changes, the years change, the average change.
Yeah, but it would probably be bangers for people from that age.
Oh yeah,
Because how old are you?
38.
No, so we're basically the same age. You're older than me.
Yeah.
And and so then that music for sure. I have CDs like that too.
Yeah.
I don't know where the hell. I know where they're at. Actually, I know exactly where they're at.
It's fun.
If I
mean,
went to some of those CDs, there'd be some good ass music on there.
Yeah. So I mean, it just, that's why, you know, in the whole DJing realm, like I said, now it's way easier for anybody to become a DJ. You know, it's just the technology is so much more advanced, and I mean, obviously it benefits if you use it right. You know, that's why I'm shocked to hear sometimes that there's DJs now still out there that are doing events that are so narrow-minded and are not. You come up to them, hey, you know, play me this.
Music, yeah.
I can't do it.
Yeah,
What do you mean you can't do it? How? Explain to me. I mean, I don't care what you're using. Like, there's no way that you cannot play it.
Exactly. Especially with everything that you can get at your literally your fingers are
At your fingertips. I mean,
Yeah,
literally.
Yeah.
I had that situation. I was out. This is probably a couple years ago. I was out at one of the clubs around us, Avalon, and I go up to the DJ, and like, mind you, I have even I have music. I have a playlist that updates every Friday for me with just like new stuff that came out right in this past week, or things recommended this week or whatever. And I get a lot of Polish songs. I get a lot of rap songs, Polish songs, like EDM songs, right? And so I'm listening. Like I was like that week, some banger Polish songs are just coming on my playlist, right? So I go up to the DJ and I'm like, hey, can you play this? And I know this DJ because I've sold him cell phones before when I worked in Sprint. I'm like, yo, can you play this song? And he's like, no, I don't have it. He looks at it, he's like, I don't have it. I'm like, oh, all right. Next one, I'm like, how about this one, right? Like 10 minutes later, he's like, no, I don't have it. Like, I showed him like 4 songs, right? And he said, no, I don't have it for any of them. And I just don't think he was taking requests, or he could have just said that off the bat.
No shit.
Yeah, but
Right?
like, I just don't understand DJs, like, when
But-
I don't take requests. Like, what do you mean you don't take requests?
Bro, that's a tip right there.
Like, well, I mean, whether it's a tip or not, but I mean,
Potentially.
just to be that close-minded though. Like, I don't take requests. I mean, it could maybe not fit in your set or what you're playing at the time.
Yeah.
But there'll be a point
moment,
where you'll be able to drop something, or even maybe use it to, like, you know, say something and then drop it if it doesn't match the beats, or, you know, it doesn't make sense to me.
You know what's the crazy part? I went there next week. He's playing all the songs, all the same songs
Listen,
that I
man,
wrote.
his playlist didn't upload, dude.
Yeah, the 4 songs that I gave him, he played them all. Literally the next week.
Playlist didn't
I'm
update.
like, this son of a.
Playlist didn't update, bro. That's all it is, dude.
But it's like, and it's for me, you know, so with all these events, all these weddings, like, I'm literally playing every weekend. And music-wise, for me, all these songs are so to my throat. I'm so sick of all these songs. I swear to God. And like as a DJ, like you try to sometimes incorporate new stuff that you find. Let's say during the week. I mean, I'm sitting at home. I'm looking at different DJ pools, whatever, this and that.
Well, now that you sit at home and now you're only DJing
well, yeah,
on the
exactly.
weekends, then you
but
got
I mean,
time, right?
but I mean, a good DJ or somebody that's responsible, you got to do homework, right? I mean, it might be like I said, whether it's on Spotify in your car. I mean, you're always kind of having your ears open to something that's new, good. But to sit there and play these same songs, and let's say I find something that's a banger. Let's say you'll find on YouTube 30 million views. You're like, man, it sounds good. It should be popular, this and that. And then you put it into the mix, right? Into some sort of wedding.
Yep.
Yeah.
Instantly, everybody dips out.
Yeah.
Smoke, drink, whatever. And I'm like, dude, do you guys continuously want to just hear these same songs?
Yeah.
So what I've been doing now in the Polish world, even, again, Polish people are the same kind of narrow-minded as Lithuanians, as Americans. Seriously. They don't want to hear different.
Yeah.
And if it is, I mean, it has to be such a banger that, everybody stays on the floor.
Yeah.
So me, I naturally just try to find different remixes, something more fun, something more, new age from what the original song was, to kind of be a little bit different. Because like I said, playing the same stuff, dude, you get so burnt out. It's like, dude, I don't want to hear the same thing, like,
Yeah, 100%. I've been hearing a lot of recently. I've been hearing a lot of remixes of like old songs. A lot. There's been a lot of them coming up, like songs that I listened to from like my age. I'm not even that fucking old.
No,
but regardless, from that era, the 2000s, like 2000 somewhere, which I think was the best era for music in terms of like dance and like electronic music. A lot of those songs are now being remixed like now in this time.
Yep.
And they're pretty good.
Yeah, I have a lot of them in my playlist.
Yeah, me too. I've been like, sometimes I have, because like if you listen to Spotify has like top summer songs of 2025 or top dance songs or top house songs, and you put it on these playlists and you hear some of these songs, like, bro, I know
you
this
just start singing
song,
along. You're
bro.
like, what the hell?
Yeah, dude, but even a different beat, whatever. But good songs.
I respect them when they're remixed.
Yeah.
I am so sick of the 2000s era. Let's say if you're doing an American wedding, right?
Yeah.
American weddings have a staple of the 2000s. No matter what you do, 2000s are the staple. And I'm like, dude, you're telling me in 25 years
nothing's changed?
There's nothing that we can like, have, like, why do we have to continuously stay at these 2000s? Like, but I mean, again,
that depends on demographic that's on the dance floor, right? I mean,
but even the younger ones, I mean, even younger kids, like I said, I played.
You gotta play Baby Shark, dude.
No,
a remix of Baby Shark.
Bullshit aside, I played a 8th grade graduation, okay, which was like kind of the youngest one that I've ever done, like in regards to kids wise. And great people, awesome staff, teachers, everything else. And I told them, I was like, listen, I feel like I'm maybe a little bit behind on what current 8th graders listen to.
Yeah.
I mean, because they're not out, they're not in clubs, they're not in bars, they're not anywhere. Like,
are you at home?
What is an 8th grade listener to? So I'm like, make me a list, make me some sort of something just to, So one of the moms is like, okay, I'll do it. So she sends me an Excel spreadsheet, and I'm like, bro, I start looking at these songs. Again, this is a Catholic school. This is an 8th grade graduation.
Right.
There's some artist that is called Blowjob Lips.
Okay, yeah, there is, yes.
Are you serious? You know that?
I know that, yeah.
I don't.
Yeah, I've heard it. I've seen this.
something Blowjob Lips, and I know this, and I'm like, what the, like, dude, I don't feel even right. And like, I put the song on YouTube just to see what it was before I did anything. And everything, I'm supposed to get all these clean versions. Everything is, do this, do that, do this, do that on the song, and I'm like, bro,
I've heard of this song.
How do I play this
you don't.
for an 8th grade, or even like the current age of, let's say girls, the Cardi B's, the Sexy Reds.
Yeah.
When all these young girls wanted that freaking song was, oh, let the coochie breathe. And I put that shit on, right? And I guess saying coochie breathe is not inappropriate, but to me it's just so weird where there's 8th grade girls, let that coochie breathe, and I'm like, bro, I just feel weird.
Yeah,
I'm like, you guys are
That is weird though, because that seems to be happening, like, right, like that's part of the current culture, I guess.
The most degenerate, like,
degenerate is a good word.
The most degenerate song and like lyrics It's the ones that they want the drop to. The whole song, they don't want that. They just want that
piece.
Pretty much
Like
that one refrain.
like
They don't want the whole song. So when you're especially with hip hop, when you're playing hip hop, you don't play full songs.
Yeah.
You do the hooks, you do the refrains, and then that's pretty much it. Or like the intro and like the hook.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then you jump into the next one.
Yep. Yep.
But it's like the more ratchetness stuff right now, and like I said, even the white kids or everybody else, like it's just so crazy underground, like old block type hip hop.
Bro, it's crazy actually. Now that you talk about it, we were in Michigan last weekend, over in Michigan City, not Michigan City, South Haven, for like 5 days, right? And we were like at the beach, and we went to restaurants and stuff like that. And it was the weekend, obviously, so there was a lot of young kids out, especially now that it's summer. They're all on summer break, dude. All the fucking kids were driving around in pickup trucks, listening to rap music. All of them.
Yeah.
I was like,
I mean, even country.
what the hell,
But
bro?
even
No,
country.
it wasn't even
but
country
I'm saying
music.
even country music now has rap in it.
yeah,
Big time.
100
Well, that was a Morgan Wallen move.
yeah.
Morgan Wallen is the one that introduced the hip hop into.
No, Nelly.
I mean, Morgan Wallen's the one that made it mainstream with the beat, because Morgan Wallen came in like his first few songs, his first album.
Yeah.
Everything has that hip hop beat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like,
With
you can't
guitars
tell we're saying
over
a
it.
couple words back
think,
in the day.
I
so.
think Nelly was one that was
Nelly?
like kind of like the pioneer for it, because Nelly.
Yeah, because he did jump into country
he,
music.
he was
Yeah.
he was in a lot of songs with
I mean,
those
Post Malone, dude.
Post Malone too. Well, Post Malone went from rap to country.
Yeah.
He
Right.
didn't really transition.
Yeah.
Morgan Wallen's the one that has like Lil Yachty and all these other like
Yeah.
are these artists, but like he was the one that opened the door for like that hip hop beat in country.
Yeah.
So, like you listen to Morgan Wallen, you can actually bump to it like as a beat.
Yeah.
That's why he was so popular. I mean,
But
yeah.
dude, but I mean, like I said, I was in Michigan, and I was like, bro, these kids. I'm not talking like rap. I'm talking like
ratchet rap.
ratchet
Yeah.
rap. I was
Yeah.
like, what the fuck, bro?
Yeah.
Like, and once in a while, you got a kid riding by himself, driving in a truck, listening to country music. But he was by himself.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the trucks that had kids in them, like boys or girls or whatever, it was just ratchet fucking rap music. I was like, this makes fucking zero sense to me.
And
I'm standing in the street, and I'm
I-
like, don't you guys have like something better? Like, I don't even. First of all, I don't know what the fuck they're saying in these songs. I literally don't know.
I don't think anybody
the
does.
current hip hop is just lyric wise.
garbage.
I mean, I listen to it because I have to download it. I have to play it. Man, it's just
I love rap, but I listen like lyrical rap
Yeah.
where like there's substance to it.
You know,
No, I need to understand what they're
Yeah,
saying.
yeah.
And
That
when,
kind of rap I get.
when like where they're saying like not everything's smart, but like everything's like well put together.
it makes sense. It has a nice flow to it.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Like the lyric was like my favorite one right now is JID. He doesn't play on any radio. He's super popular, but he doesn't play on any radio because he doesn't have any bangers. That's why he doesn't have any super catchy hooks, right, and stuff like that. He raps to what he raps, and he's really good at it. He's signed with J. Cole. J. Cole also isn't on the radio as much, even though
I know who J. Cole is.
yeah, but he's one of the top 3 rappers right now, right?
Interesting.
He's not like a Drake, who everybody knows Drake,
Yeah,
right?
but Drake kind of fell off too. He hasn't
That's
really.
because he got dissed so bad by Kendrick Lamar that he can't come
Yeah,
out.
I didn't
anymore.
really get into that whole beef thing situation. It's just
Don't know anything about it. All I know is that
Yeah.
we went to a Grid Life event a couple of years back, and they had what the hell's his name playing for the
Waka
festival.
Flocka.
Waka Flocka, bro.
Oh,
what
Jesus.
Jesus Christ, bro. I was at this concert and I'm like, what the hell is this guy saying?
That was
I did not know any of the
Waka
songs because I don't
Flocka
know
was-
shit about rap.
I didn't like his music, but that guy's funny as hell.
He is funny because he was funny when he talked like a normal person.
Yeah.
But when he was singing, bro, like just
I
choking
think
on something, dude.
the worst thing with hip hop outside of one, I could never go to a concert. That's number one because I don't even consider it
same.
a concert. But even if you go to a concert, for it to have on stage not just the one guy, and I'm not talking about like mainstream crazy, they have 14 of their boys,
Yeah,
and every one of those boys have a mic,
yeah.
and it's like you're looking at the stage, and there's like 15 dudes on there,
You don't know which
and
one's
everybody's
singing.
just whatever, and everybody has a mic just
Making
repeating
noises
or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, who's this technical artist? And like live sounds like shit. And the worst part is that like they don't even do a backtrack. Hip hop artists play the actual song with them rapping,
Yeah.
like a
Yeah.
radio
Yep,
version,
yep.
and they just scream on top of it. So they're screaming on top of themselves. I swear to God.
Dude,
So
I've-
nothing is like, I mean, it's live, but it's not live.
I've been to 2 rap concerts. One was Logic. He did his live.
Okay, yeah.
It's funny. cool enough, he actually stopped his mid. He brought 8 people onto the stage, random people, and he played them in Mario Kart. He's like a nerd rapper, and he played them in Mario Kart mid stage. And then the other one was NF. I don't know if you know who that is.
No.
He's like this just white Michigan rapper. He's like he's very like
Tom McDonald. Dude?
no, he's very like holy. So he doesn't swear. He doesn't swear in any of his raps. It's mostly and his concert was fucking awesome. Like he didn't swear at all. He did all his live. And who came out? Corday came out, and he sang his stuff too.
I don't know.
So
I'm not huge into hip hop. I kind of fell off once hip hop. Like I said, I used to have subs. I used to have 312s in my high school years.
Didn't we
Like
all?
I had a Mazda 929. I had TVs. I had spinners. I was
the whole 9 yards.
Oh,
huh?
dude, I was bad, dude. I had actual spinners. I had 3 TVs, headrest, flip out,
Damn, bro.
312s,
Just
dude.
came out of Pimp My Ride.
I was
dude.
banging. I was banging back in the day, dude.
Is that show still live, dude? Pimp My Ride?
No.
No.
I love watching what happens after with those cars.
Those cars, yeah.
You want to take a quick break?
Yeah, let's go.
All right.
I'm just glad I have a mic.
Guys, don't forget to, if you're watching and you made it this far, thank you. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and make sure to follow us, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, whatever, and make sure to follow Donatos.
Yep.
What's your Instagram handle?
Donatas DJ.
Cool. I'll have it on the screen right here, and it'll be a link in the description. So make sure to check them out. If you want to book them. But expect a 2-year.
Yeah, exactly.
2-year wait.
Waiting period.
Next year, right now, thus far, 26, I have signed 11. 27, I have 6.
Are you looking for the other person to join you on this adventure, or did you
I
tell
mean,
Joanna, like, hey, Joanna?
No, Joanna knows.
Three more years.
Joanna knows. But yeah, it's that's the one thing. Like, it's hard for me with like the, if you want to call it popularity.
Yeah.
From my side, I can't scale myself.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
People want me. I can have a DJing company, but for me to, it sucks. Like I said, I turn down events left and right, especially this year. Can you do it? No. I mean, I recommend, a few guys that I can trust, that I could, if I say, hey, he's good, I know he's good. But it's like it's sad and kind of sucks that it's not really a scalable business in regards to like I can rent equipment, I can do anything,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, but you can't double yourself.
Yeah, but it's me. Like I said, if you want me, if you heard me at a party, you're like, dude, it was a banger. I can't teach you to read the room and do what I do.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, because it just so it kind of sucks, But
I mean,
you have to have like a social awareness to that as well. I'm not gonna say it's the same thing, but it's very similar when I'm bartending, right? You have to have like a social awareness, see like what people, you have to read the room, kind of listen in on people's conversations sometimes, see what they're talking about and stuff like that.
Marcin's eavesdropping.
Well, no, but it's
then
like
he comes to me one day. He's like, "Yo, you know what I heard last time at a wedding from these people, dude?
That's what happens.
Gossip."
Yeah, or people try to fight me at the end of a wedding because I won't serve them anymore.
Those people are probably funny.
One guy tried to jump over my bar once.
You should have let him.
So I don't do. I tell couples that I work with, I don't do last calls anymore.
As in
announce last calls.
Oh yeah,
bars closing. Because one, it kills the party.
Yeah.
So let's say whatever.
Everybody runs to the bar.
And the bartenders hate me. The venue hates me. Well, I mean, obviously they have an open bar, tab, but it's just like you kill your party within an hour or even whatever, right?
Because usually the bar closes an hour before.
And now people have that mentality. That means the bar's closing, which means the party's on next one.
Yeah. So everybody runs out. So I mean, for me, it's great. As a vendor or whatever you want to call it, all of us want to go home earlier than later because it takes us 2 hours to pack and everything else. So it's but I don't do last call anymore because it's just literally people run to the bar like they haven't seen liquor, and it's like you had 7 hours to drink, dude. Like, I don't know why you want to ruin the party now and do that now.
Exactly.
But
I mean that's whatever.
Yeah.
I love doing it though. I mean, like bartending, like parties, whatever. It's just fun.
Yeah.
Like obviously it's
like that requires a certain person to do like your job. It requires a certain person to do your job.
Yeah.
It requires a certain person for me to do my job.
Yeah, you were asking me like, oh, if somebody throws a 20 in a tip jar, like you remember their drink? Yes, I remember their drink. But also just as you come up during the night, I'll start remembering people's drink. I have this like strange skill where I remember everything that doesn't matter, and I have very good memory of that. Like ask me what me and my girlfriend were doing. Ask me what me and my girlfriend were next week. Couldn't tell you. Ask me what this guy was drinking 3 weeks ago at the party. I can tell you who was drinking vodka cranberry with a splash of soda.
I mean, people have different skills, right? Your skills remember stupid shit.
Or yours.
100%.
We haven't said that in a while.
For real, dude. We gotta catch up on it. We say 100% all the
I'm
time.
still waiting for our shirts that say 100% on the
I
back.
know we're
dude.
getting shirts.
Yeah, there you go.
When we get one, I'm gonna 100%.
Yeah, people are already asking for to buy shirts.
Really?
I'm
Are
like,
we gonna start selling merchandise, bro? I think we're making the steps forward into the future. I think we're getting there. I was gonna say, if whoever's listening out there, that if you got something to say, comment, whatever, let us know if we're doing something wrong, maybe doing something right.
There you go.
Give us some
For sure.
feedback. It'd be nice.
or comment, I want a shirt.
Yeah, or comment, I want a shirt. That'd be the best.
Then we'll gauge how many people want shirts and we'll just order more.
Yeah, exactly. But it depends what's gonna be on a shirt, right?
For now, it's gonna be 100%. The other one's gonna be eggs.
You guys putting your logo on it though, or like your?
I don't know. Marsha's in
The
charge
ones I
of
did
merchandise.
now have a logo here, and then on the back it says 100%.
Yeah, you should have something though. I'm gonna get shirts too, but
Marsha's gonna make the design the shirt. Maybe
I'm not gonna design the shirt.
Maybe Michelle designed a shirt. Who knows? Shout out to MTP or
MST Design.
MST Design
Jesus
Studio. Jesus Christ! Dude, there's so many. There's so many. I forget.
MST Designs, King of Crafts, Tipsy Trailer, A Solutions,
Bro, MTP Holdings,
TBTS.
A Solutions.
Nobody
EMP
knows about that
Farming.
one, though.
You'll see, but I'm saying it's all in my head. Fucking fucks with me all the time. I forgot what corporation I'm working for sometimes.
there you go.
There's the Bitcoin mining farm and everything. So it all mixes in sometimes.
Do you have to get like if you're doing a venue that like let's say like it's not like a banquet hall per se? Do you ever have to get like insurance stuff like that for it?
Yeah, I got full insurance coverage.
Just
so
like
I-
general
have to.
liability?
Yeah, general liability and physical damage as well.
Okay.
Downtown events, let's say if depending on where I'm parking, I've had venues to where they depends on what I'm bringing, right? So I have
Right.
my pickup truck, then I have a full trailer. So if I'm parking anywhere near their facilities, they require me to have a $2 million coverage
Oh wow.
on the physical damage side. Or liability side, which I
mean, you have to have you have
so
to have
it's
insurance.
100,000 with 2 million.
Yeah.
Usually
Yeah.
a standard is $1 million with 100,000. But yeah, I got full insurance. I mean, so like I said, depends on the halls, depends on the venues. The more union run, more American, big hotel chains, this and that, they all require insurances and everything else. Not that anything, a knock on wood, has ever happened.
Right.
But I've had situations where, like I said, they just need it on file, and
I was just curious because
Yeah.
like that's the one thing like I'm like not wary of, but like when eventually I'm gonna have to start doing that too, right? And it's like
But the DJ insurance is extremely cheap. It's a joke, to be honest. I think I pay $280 a year,
oh that's cheap.
and they issue me a certificate, a COI,
Yeah.
and it only is obviously valid for the day of the event. You put it, like whatever.
Yeah.
So you can't have, it's not like a 24-hour coverage or whatever forever coverage. But yeah, I put the event, and I mean,
Interesting.
it's not expensive. So I mean, they do take a high liability
I mean,
risk.
realistically, what can really go wrong?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah.
Worst case scenario, the equipment lights on fire and takes down the hall with it. You know
Well,
what I mean?
yeah,
But
that-
that's very unlikely.
I've played in older halls, rooms that are considered like they're in the whole what is that?
Historical.
Yeah, historical
Yeah,
societies and whatever. So like they don't allow subwoofers. So
'Cause-
the
yeah.
base is hidden, and like you could crack a wall or
Yeah,
something,
yeah.
and
That
whatever.
that
the case.
makes sense.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I mean, I've had numerous situations. I've had like I had one where I did a wedding at it was a hotel chain, and it was a big wedding. The guy calls me, the coordinator, and he says, "How much wattage do you need, or voltage?" And
Yeah.
I'm like, "What do you mean?" And they're like, "Well, your equipment, how much power do you
Wattage,
need?"
yeah.
Right.
And I'm
wattage.
like, "Okay, well, it kind of makes
Amperage.
sense, right? Amperage." But I'm like, nobody's ever asked me that. Right. And I'm like, okay, let me just look at the models on my speakers, and I'll just give you the wattage that they are,
Yeah,
and this and that. And I'm like, you calculate it, whatever. So at that time, I told them that, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to come into this venue, and there's going to be an advanced electrical cart, with special wires, and I'm going to plug into God knows where. So that's what I thought. Then this couple wanted uplighting. Now, uplighting, this is before I had wireless uplights, right?
Right.
Uplights that go around the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
had
because you do that too now, right?
Yeah, I do. I have all that. So I had wired ones where you just simply plug it in and that's lights whatever reaches, right? Or you run extension cords. So the couple We agreed on that. Then I have the coordinator from that hotel call me. Okay, how many of these lights you got? Blah, 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 blah. I'm okay. I'm like, why are you asking this? She's like, well, our union electricians have to come in and plug them in. I'm like, wait, what? So this couple had to pay this venue, the electrician that came out. I shit you not. I have my big cart of lights, and while we're setting up, I go to the outlet. I'm like, I need to, this corner needs a light. Put a light. He kneels down, plugs it in, stands up. What's the next one? They paid that electrician $62 per light.
What?
Shit you not. Then I'm like, okay, so where's my power source box that you wanted all this amperage for? I come in, there's a closet, and there's an extension cord thrown by the stage. He's like, yeah, that's your main power source. And I'm like, okay, so I thought, okay, maybe there's like an advanced something.
Right. Or like you don't use this outlet or like
whatever,
use
right?
these.
Once he left, like I go back in that room, I open the door. It's just like a series of like maybe 4 or 5 outlets and like wires plugged in there. Then I find out the couple. I'm like, yo, how much? Like, how do they? So they charge them for the voltage, for the wattage.
Oh my god.
So they spent outside of spending rental for me for the uplighting back then with the wires or whatever. They spent that much money to do that, and then what happens at the end of the night?
The fucking thing burns out.
No.
The guys gotta come in and unplug everything.
The freaking union guy comes back, has to unplug everything because it's
$62.
electrical. I don't know if it was like a combo thing, like 62 each, but that was the most ridiculous thing that I watched a grown man plug in. Like I said, if it was something advanced, it was something on ladders, I get it.
What venue was this?
It was
maybe don't say, but
no, it was a big hotel chain.
Really?
Do you know how many places downtown probably have this?
Oh, they have every. I mean, dude, the downtown rules. Oh,
dude,
God.
they wouldn't
That's
let me.
crazy.
Yeah, they wouldn't let me. I was downtown in what was it, 200 West Madison. It's a corner building. It's nice glass and everything. It's a really nice building, and we were installing equipment. One of our clients was moving there, but they were moving into a temp space, right? So they were like, oh, well, low voltage guys need to come out, run all the cables, blah, blah. I'm like, all right, cool. Well, I'm like, it's a temp space, so you guys are probably going to be running off Wi-Fi. Like, you don't need physical connections. Like, well, they're going to come out and do it. I'm like, okay. I get there. There's only 4 wires pulled. One for each access point, right? That's it. And then they're like, oh, we need a COI. I'm like, for what? And they're like, well, you guys are going to be in the unit. I'm like,
yeah,
we're not doing we're plugging things in. We're not like lifting or installing anything. We're not running any cable or anything like that. Oh, they still need it. I'm like, oh, okay, here you go. And then I gave it to them the morning of. 2 days later, after I'm done, they're like, yeah, that's not the right one. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
then
that's crazy.
The company ended up having to put us under them.
I mean, I guess it's regulation, right? So that's part of it.
There's rules, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
rules and
I
regulation.
don't
get downtown.
I get
too.
like running electrical or knocking down walls and stuff. I get it, right? But I'm not actually like,
God, that feels like you're living in a prison over there.
anything.
The worst is where I've had venues, especially downtown. They'll be on a loft space or a 3rd floor of some sort of building or whatever the case may be. And I had one where there's a restaurant underneath, or like maybe under 1 floor. So this couple rented this place for a wedding. Beautiful venue, like it's really nice.
Right.
They did decorate it, right?
They do really nice venues downtown.
The lady comes up to me. She's like, you have to completely turn your bass down. I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, we don't allow subwoofers at all. I'm like, first of all, this is the first time I'm hearing this, but I'm like, it's going to make me sound like shit. Like, I can't play with no bass. Like, songs and party and music. Like, I'm hired. Like, I understand that you guys were hired to do the venue.
Yeah.
I'm hired to do the sound. Like, you guys did your part to make it look beautiful. I have to make it a
Sound,
party.
Yeah, make it a party, yeah.
No subs means no dancing. I mean, who the hell wants to hear mids and highs?
Yeah, right.
I mean, realistically, think about it.
Yeah,
It's like, dude.
Nobody.
So she's like, no, well, we don't allow it, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, listen, ma'am, I'm not going to blast crazy. I get your rules. Like, I'll respect them to my best ability. But I'm like, people are paying me money as well. Like, you have to meet me in the middle. Like, you guys are a vendor. I'm a vendor. Like, we have to figure this out.
Yeah.
So she brings these rubber legs to lift my subwoofers off the floor.
Okay.
And she's like, do this, but 50% power. And I'm like, all right, I got you. And she's like, no, you got to turn it down in front of me to show me. And I'm like, dude, you got to be kidding me. So I go to my little gauge and I turn down the bass, and she's like, okay. She's like, I'm gonna come back. I'm like, all right,
Just
whatever.
to check
dude.
to make sure you don't put it
So
up.
she did come back a few times. She was like, she looked at my board or whatever, because she knows like the EQs, like highs, mids, this. Okay,
no shit.
I had one venue also where the owner is there all the time, and for whatever reason he has a decibel meter, and he stands behind the bar, and he gives you 3 strikes. He'll sit there and like the music's pumping, party's going, and then he'll see this dB meter too high. He'll do this, lower, right? Lower it down. Again, party happens, whatever. Some song comes on, some song is louder, recorded, better quality.
Yeah.
Boom. Second strike. Third time he comes up, he's like, one more time, I'm cutting you off. Power off. And I'm like, dude, I educate couples that I work with, people that ask for my advice, somebody that hasn't booked a venue, whatever. Yeah. I've learned so many things along the years where I'm like, I'm asking these questions for them. Like, are they going to allow blah, 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 allow you? Because like, how would you book a party venue to do your party, but you come in and know this, know that, know this, know that,
right.
know that.
100%.
Instantly.
I would be like, fuck this place. I'm going somewhere else.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like,
if someone's going to stand there with a decimal meter just to measure how loud it is.
And I understand if this was like an industrial area. It was like a modern warehouse that was turned into a venue.
Mm-hmm.
So there was nothing around. It wasn't like there was like, a hospital next door. Or, it's something I would understand. But then again, why would you make a venue around these kind of places that that don't allow sound, and you might get cops called on?
I cut somebody off once from DJing.
What do you mean cut somebody off?
Like I made him stop. Nah,
as a bartender?
As a bartender.
Did he suck that bad? Jesus
no,
Christ.
So
that's funny.
Did he play Let the Coochie Breathe?
it's when they still lived here before they were making music and they were DJing. It's Marcus Pet.
Oh, okay. So where is he? He's back.
He's in Poland. He's so he was bartending at a wedding, or he was DJing a wedding that I was bartending, and he's playing this music super loud.
Okay.
Right. There's other parties, like, because you know how they just have like the sectional walls, right?
Yeah, which are not very soundproof.
Yeah. Well, you can hear it like where it's louder than the party next door where they're also playing music.
Yeah.
And he's just like on full blast, right? And so the owner comes, she's like, go tell him to turn it down. I'm like, and I go, and I'm like, yo, turn it down. Like, you can hear it in the next party. Don't be a dick, right? He's like, yeah, right? And I go outside for a cigarette. He comes outside for a cigarette, and he's talking all this shit. I'm like, well, are you gonna turn your fucking music down? And he's like, oh, fuck that, blah, blah, blah. And then second time, the owner comes back, he's like, go tell him again. And after the third time, we're like, that's it, turn off your music. And we had to explain to the couple why we made him turn off the music. And even they were like, what a dick.
Yeah. I wonder if he got paid in full.
Some halls, I mean, I've had that numerous times where literally like the DJs will be back to back. Like
they weren't. That's the thing, is that they weren't back to back. You know where it was? It was at Camelot.
Okay.
So he was on the main stage on that far wall, and the DJ was in the other room, the other connected room.
That loud?
On the other side.
That's like a whole different freaking.
That's what I'm saying.
Across a hallway.
That's what I'm saying.
That's not even the next room.
Well, it was the connected room.
Yeah.
Right, but he was on the far side of the wall, and he was on this far side of the wall.
Okay.
Right, so it's still a big distance, right? And he was still playing like a douche. I mean, we kicked him out, and he comes out, and he's like, "Oh, fuck this place. This is why I'm moving back to Poland." Blah blah blah, all that shit. And I think he got pulled over that night too.
Well, I've had it where, like I said, when you're back to back, I mean, as long as your timelines match up, because I mean, I've gotten, not arguments, but like I've gotten to conversations with the owner or whoever manages the night. If we're doing, some sort of intro where start both weddings similar times.
Yeah.
Right.
So where, we're both at least the same, him pumping like intros while, maybe mom is making a speech.
Right.
And then behind it's, it's crazy. And I'm like, dude, these people equally paid you for your venue space.
Right.
Coordinate your times. I mean, like I said, to turn a DJ down is kind of shitty because, again, we're here to entertain.
And I understand that, right?
So, but...
I'm sure who has, probably, Crystal Grand probably does that. Because if it's two parties, they're probably back to back usually.
Yeah, I've had but Crystal Grand's usually respectful. They plan out their times. I don't have anything bad to say about any of the banquet halls at all.
Right.
They're all, like I said, staffs are, especially the
that was just a one situation, and he was just being a dick.
Yeah.
Is realistic what it was.
But
Well, now he ain't here no more.
Exactly.
Maybe he got deported.
That's why I refuse. That's why I refuse to listen to his fucking music.
Who's this guy?
Marcus P. Marcus P. You've played.
Marcus
You've.
P.
I can.
Oh,
Get,
Marcus P.
Yeah.
Oh, that guy. I
Yeah.
mean, not that guy. I mean, I don't know. You know, I just know the name on my songs on
Yeah,
some.
Yeah. So he
has
used
like,
to
what,
DJ
like
over in
Oh,
Chicago.
did he? Okay.
Yeah, and like Hula Hula and fucking,
Okay. Yeah.
and yeah, ever since that, like when I met him, like, and then my bartender was bartending with me. Mind you, he's gay, right? And he's like, yeah, that guy used to hit on me all fucking day long. And he's like, and then one time I seen him, and he was bartending there, and he's like, he took a girl out back, like in the alley, like where we used to smoke, and he was trying to like, you know, bang her right back there. I'm like, because people walk past her all the time.
The name of the game, dude.
That's not. I don't know, bro, about the name of the game.
I mean, listen, bro. That's everybody's gonna do their own.
Use the bathroom, bro.
I mean, I guess, yeah, sure, whatever. But I'm not in that. I'm not in that sphere, so I don't know shit about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I mean, I heard the same thing about the same guy, so not shocking. But I mean, whatever. That doesn't matter.
No, but like I said, in regards to like the venues and stuff,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
like I said,
right.
there's
If the venue is a good place where they coordinate, then usually there's no problems. They usually everybody, you know.
Right.
yeah.
Exactly.
But if the venues, you know, if they're fucking sitting there with a decimal meter,
no.
I would never ever spend my money there for
Yeah,
sure
No.
true.
to have that kind of stuff or the engineers plug it.
Yeah.
Hell no.
Maybe you don't know. Like the
What do you mean you
engineering,
don't-
I'm sure you
Dude,
know.
if you're paying
right?
for it, right, you have to know.
Okay, but are you gonna go to a place and you be like, "Hey, do you use a decibel reader to make sure that it's
No,
not
but
too
I want to
loud?"
ask: is there anything I should know of
Yeah,
that
yeah.
that
I
that,
mean-
Right.
that you know?
That's why-
If the music's too loud, you let me know, because if it, you know, let me know ahead of time.
Yeah.
Like if I ask you, like, is there something I need to know that I wouldn't really, I guess, know, right?
Yeah.
Like somebody's in the back listening to the music with a decimal beat. I'd be like, fuck this, then I'm out of here. You know what I
there's
mean?
things that I educate even, you know, just again from the experience. Like I talk to couples, video and photo, right? There's a lot of great professionals, numerous, and I'd say more than so the American side is what's probably the most guilty. Couples I've had that have booked picture and video that see, let's say, Instagram or whatever posts from these photographers, and they like what they see, right?
Yep.
They hire them, but that photographer sends out
Somebody else.
satellite shooters.
Yeah.
Right.
People that just shoot, they don't edit. They just shoot what they see. Of
They
course,
edit,
they're trained,
yeah.
but they don't get the guy they want. And I've had couples that have come to weddings, and they come to the, you know, like again, they come to the venue obviously to meet me, you know, before people arrive or whatever when the bridal party gets there. And I see they're pissed off, and we're talking, and I'm like, "What's up?" You know, they're like, "Oh, you know, this video guy, like we thought we were getting so and so, and they sent this guy, and this guy seems like he's not the same energy, not the same shots, not the same
Right,
you know
right.
angles." And I'm like, "Well, these are things that you're supposed to ask." And you know, and like I said, that's why now the people that talk to me way before weddings and we were talking, I'm like, I asked them. It's not even my job anymore,
Exactly.
Right.
but I just feel obligated because I'm like,
You
I'm
want
in
to
the
have that.
circle.
You want them to have a
Yeah.
good time at their wedding.
Yeah,
and not
I
worry
want to.
about
I
stupid
want to
shit.
have. I want to have this thing of like, you know, having a one leg up against other, not competition, but you know, just to be a little different to where I just care
you're
about
gonna, You're
everybody.
gonna expand the business and start doing photos too.
Yeah, no.
Oh, he's gonna have satellite DJs. He's gonna have satellite.
No, but bullshit aside, the reels that I do,
Yeah.
the reels that I do for weddings
Uh-huh.
and events that show that I do for myself, for my page, to show people the vibe.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Of,
right.
of okay, you're hiring me. This is kind of what it looks
Yeah.
like, right? Party wise, dancing wise, whatever. That has set me apart so much in regards to doing that, because people, like I said, if you're a DJ, I'll take a picture of this board. Playing tonight
Yeah.
here, right?
Yeah.
The fuck is that to a person?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Or if I post a picture of my just like a
Yeah.
setup of like my
But if
lights.
you do
and-
like a, but if you do,
but
like
when
a,
I do a whole reel of like,
Yeah.
okay, this is my
Right.
setup, this is the people's energy, this is how like the night is turning
Yeah,
out, like,
yeah,
this
yeah,
is
yeah.
their energy. But these reels that I'm doing, dude, like, and I do them for me. I don't sell them. I don't do
Yeah.
anything,
they do help with your
Bro.
promotion, but
bro.
it's for you.
But it's for me. But
Yeah.
I mean, I give it to them as a keepsake.
Yeah.
I make a nice video as I can. Which is I've had a couple pay me $500 once where they hired somebody and I caught such cool angles just again for my sake.
Right.
I tagged them, I shared them, I did the whole collaboration, like so they could see it on their
Yeah,
face.
yeah.
I got a Zelle, $500. I'm like, what the hell is this? And the bride writes me, we got our video back from our video person.
Shit.
Nothing like, it wasn't necessarily shit, but it was just very bland.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, bride, groom, you know, this. Very, very, you know, nothing creative. I did a 3-4 minute reel. She
had everything in it.
Yeah, everything in it. And she's like, I feel like I owe you this. And I'm like, listen, I just did this for me because, like I said, it just shows people what you get with me.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and like I said, that's
awesome though. That's,
yeah,
you know,
you have to set yourself apart somehow.
100%.
I started doing that where it's like I
have to
start taking shots. I mean, what, your cars and coffee? We just made a reel. I just made a reel for you the other day, and I just literally collaborated with them. I told his worker, I'm like, hey, accept the collab, and, you know, and that's
exactly.
it. And it came out pretty cool.
Yeah,
right. So,
well, that's the thing is that sometimes you gotta set yourself apart. Like for my business, one of my things that sets us apart from other businesses is that if you call us, someone's gonna answer the phone. I swear to God,
that's a big thing.
That's a huge thing, dude.
That's a big thing,
dude. I get people I get who call on the phone. They're like, "Hello," and I'm like, "Hey, Solutions, what's going on? What are you looking for? Something specific or whatever? Whatever they answer, you know, I'm gonna answer like a normal person, but I just
fuck you.
What the fuck you want?
Fuck you looking for? And I said I'm not gonna swear so much on this podcast, bro. Oh,
you
man.
repeated it.
I know.
I said it.
Anyway, and they're like, "Oh, I wasn't expecting anybody to answer the phone. I was expecting like automated message, like a machine or voicemail or whatever." And I'm like, "Nah, we basically every one of us has a phone on them. So when the phone rings, we answer. Why? Because it's just so much easier to conduct business when you're talking on the phone with somebody, especially when somebody calls to check if you're a real place or not.
Yeah.
Like if you're, because there's a lot of scammers out there, right?
And stuff.
Well, you know, somewhere in India or something like that. You know, a lot of people call just to get somebody on the phone just to see if they're actually a real person there.
Yeah.
Because if I answer and I say, "Hey, this is A Solutions, how can I help you?" And they're like, "Oh, you guys are actually a real place." I'm like, "Yeah, were you looking for something specific?" He's like, "Oh, I'm looking at this part and this part." I'm like, "Oh, let me pull it up. What do you want to know about it?" He's like, "Well, I just wanted to see if you guys have it in stock. This is actually the price of it." I'm like, "This is it. I can actually give you a little bit of a discount if you want to do it this way or whatever. I can give you a little bit of a discount because if we take a payment through PayPal instead of eBay, whatever, vice versa, whatever the situation is." Not saying anything about eBay. eBay is my.
You just promoted them a couple weeks ago.
eBay is a good place. I can't say. It's a big market. But I can give you a discount if you call me and talk to me. And you're like, you know, I'm on a fence about it. I'm like, well, let me give you a better price if you want it, and we could make a deal. It's always better for me to make a deal than make no deal.
Yeah,
like it's better to sell something for a little bit less, but sell it and be done with it, move on to the next thing, than sit on some stuff for 2 years.
Yeah.
You know, one guy called, you know, today for a part that's been sitting for a year. It's $150. He offered $100. It's, you know, it's a pretty steep discount. But what am I gonna sit on for another year? Yeah, exactly. Get rid of it.
Plain dust. Yeah.
$100. Goodbye. You know, get my money back. Invest it somewhere else. You know, stuff gets dusty.
And that's what happens too. Like you're saying with a live person, like it's these small things. And even with my stuff, I post, you know, on my Instagram, whatever. I post things of, you know, my presentation, even on outside the whole DJing aspect.
Mm-hmm.
How you present yourself when you pull up to the venue. To some people, it's stupid, right? It's like, well, what does it matter? I got a brand new trailer.
Yeah.
Got a nice truck. Right?
Yep.
I pull up. I had a full ramp. Not to say, I mean, again, everybody's budgets are different. I get people are starting, whatever. I have had so many people at venues, managers, owners, whatever the case may be. They're like, damn. Like, you're like a real DJ. And I'm like, well, what would you expect? You know what I mean? Like,
in the back of a car and
bring in a caravan.
And again, and I don't hate on those people because, again, people have different levels of starting out.
Right,
I get it.
Everybody understands
but it's like the fact that, you know, how much response I've gotten. Like I said, I've posted numerous times. I'm like, boom, it starts with the presentation. When you're unloading stuff, you're like, damn, dude, like, you know, you're like the real deal. I'm like, well, what do you expect? Like, you expect somebody that just started yesterday?
You just
like,
paid this much money for me, you know.
Perfect example is the same thing when we had the big race chiller.
Yeah.
When I used from the shop, when we used to go take the Evo out to the track, and then we brought a bunch. Dude, we pull up in this fucking big ass rig with, you know, a car in the back, parts from all over. The people are like, yo, what is this? It's like, dude, this is where we sleep. This is where we sell stuff. This is where we brought a car. We got a full garage, everything. They're like, this is such a sick ass setup. And I'm like, dude, because it does have an effect on people, right?
But seriously, it does. It really does.
And then the same thing is like, you want to look presentable for sure, right?
100%.
But if you, it's not something, and it doesn't have to be super expensive. Like I didn't pay a lot of money for that stuff, but I know it would work. I know it would help us out in terms of like making it look good and everything. And you know, it very much true that people are in certain stages of their career or whatever, business, whatever it is, right? So you don't always get the best shit at the beginning, obviously, right? And if you do, sometimes it doesn't work out in the best favor.
Yeah.
Why? Because you spend more money on stuff that you don't really actually have to worry about at the moment.
Yeah.
Spend it elsewhere. Do other things, right?
But even with the lower grade stuff, you know what I mean? Like even transportation, like I said, I get people's budgets are different. But when the stuff that I've seen that, you know, whether people pull up with or even their equipment or what they're using, and I'm like, dude, how do you present yourself like you know, you're bringing stuff in with like 2x4s or like, you know, plywood, you know what I mean? I'm like, you're carrying, you know what I mean? Just, no hate. It is what it is. But like in my trailer, I have 5 carts, right? That I, you know, fully haul my stuff in. And, you know, the other guys are just like dragging. I'm like, you can't get a cart. Like you can't invest in a cart. So like even small stuff like this, you know, but yeah, like I said, it starts from the outside and obviously, you know, that breaks the ice and how many people have taken my cards and I've met, you know, vendors or whatever, other people that are leaving. They're like, damn, dude, like, oh, use your card, you know, whatever. Because you're serious.
I mean, half my business is the presentation, right? And my trailer has to look good.
Oh, yeah.
Because
we got to wrap your trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see.
Well, for you do, yeah. For me, I never wanted to do like the whole DJ Donato.
I don't really want to do that either, though.
I don't want to do that.
Because, I don't know, it just, I don't know. I feel like it looks
I know
what
tacky.
You mean.
Yeah.
I want to, I'll do it on the back. So when it's closed,
I wouldn't say the whole trailer.
And then when you open it, it's you don't see it, right?
Just take a picture of the trailer inside when it's open.
Yeah, and then do that
sticker.
Exactly. I was gonna say that.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
But my thing is like my trailer has to look presentable all the time. That's why every single party I have, first thing I do when I get back, well, not first thing, like maybe the next day or whatever, is I go in, I clean it fully, I mop it, and I do everything, right? But even
you don't clean my truck when you're cleaning the trailer.
Yeah, well, you know.
Bro, I wash my trailer. Like again, my trailer is literally for transport only.
Yeah.
People laugh at me, but I go to the car. Like my trailer's inside 7.5 or 7, whatever. It's a higher one. So I don't
like mine.
I don't fit in a standard wash bay like a hand car wash. So I go to the one on Ogden. Like it has oversized, you know, whatever. So in the wintertime, bro, I'm washing my trailer. I don't know, man, like 2 times a month.
Yeah.
I mean, but it always is shiny. It's always nice. I don't come up with, you know, just the raggedy shit. Like if I go on a trip, I took the trailer to Sturgis last year. Bunch of, you know, instantly the second day I woke up after coming home, I was there with the freaking bug remover, you know, clean it up. Like it was just, it's little things like that. Like everything.
Yeah, but not everybody. People out there who are looking at you are paying attention to that, but not everybody who's doing it is paying attention to that.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I just open mine up, even if I don't like A Solutions, right? For the cars and coffee, I just opened it up, put some coffee out, but I still put everything out, right? Yeah. So it looked nice, and then people came on, and I just left my stack of cards, and all my cards are gone by the end of it, or most of the cards are gone, or people just like, I'm not even done, I'm still preparing everything. People are walking in, right? They're taking a look around, like, oh my god, this is so awesome.
Yep.
And they're taking a card. I literally got a message today, and they're like, your trailer is super cute. And they're like, how wide is it? I need to know if it'll fit in my backyard, right?
Yeah.
And but it's like, you know, thank you. But it's like that makes sense, you know, that people want to see that and they want to see it. I mean, I always say this. I'm at least now I've been saying this. I'm like, guys aren't the ones that are booking my trailer.
No,
but guys are the ones benefiting the most.
Yeah, who's your ladies,
girls.
Right?
Yeah, my whole Instagram, my focus on, you know, and like my wife knows this. No, seriously, because if you go on if you go on my Instagram for like
bunch of ladies,
it's all girls because I focus on brides. Brides are the ones that make the decisions.
I could tell you the same thing in mine.
Yeah, so I mean, for you, same thing. But I mean, it's just like, you know, because it's their day, all that type of, you know. But that's the biggest demographic that you want to pull is the females, you know. And like I said, that's where females notice presentation, females notice details, females notice cleanliness, you know,
your reels and everything.
Which is why my girlfriend makes them, not me.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But like, you know, guys don't necessarily care. They'll go around with it, you know. But yeah, girls are the biggest demographic. But for me, you know, presentation again. I mean, of course, what you do is different. But like for me, a flashy business card or even a flashy website doesn't do shit. If you don't hear me, like what I do, you're not gonna hire me.
Yeah.
So all my followers or anybody else, like, that's why for me, like, I don't have any merch, right? But I do want to like have some t-shirts or something just with my stuff, and like a QR code or something that would link you to my Instagram or whatever.
Yeah.
But my industry is the only one that, like I said, if I don't want to put on my trailer DJ Donatus and my phone number.
And a picture of you going like this?
Yeah, you know what I mean? But it's like, I just find that so like kind of tech is like, it's not really going to benefit me. And that I did one in my only time that I'll ever do a wedding expo.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
I'll never do it again.
Really?
I think I actually remember which one you did. It wasn't a Belvedere?
No. The Polish ones are different. I think those are probably more professional.
Okay.
I did one for an American one. But I was hired to not necessarily be a vendor, but I was actually hired there, or not hired. I was asked to donate my time to provide just music while it's going, right? So nobody asked me to like, and I never done one. And I get there, I set up basic little setup because it's free. I mean, I'm doing it for free, so I'm not gonna start bringing on everything. But it was reasonable. And I see all these freaking DJs sitting there. They're setting up these little tables and booths and all, like, whatever. And one of the guys comes up to me and he's like, I guess they probably do it more often because it's American. This is more American.
Right.
He's like, where's your flair? And I'm like, flair? The fuck you talking about? He's
like Ric Flair?
Yeah. No, he's like, well, where's your little knickknacks and stuff and like all your, your this and that. I'm like, well, first of all, I'm like, you guys are probably vendors here, but I'm like, I'm just here to play. Like, I didn't really think that I even want to,
Right.
And he's like, well, how about business? How do you find business? And I'm like, I don't need to find business. I'm like, I'm slammed already. Like, you guys are probably struggling. I mean, not like I said, I'm not trying to be cocky, but I'm like, I don't need to go to an expo because I look at my calendar and I'm already slammed.
Yeah.
You guys got to go and waste 6-7 hours of your time for free, these expos, setting up and beg these brides that are walking by and, hey, I'm a...
Yeah.
Like... That doesn't, either you're doing something wrong or you're not the best. I don't know what it is. You know what I mean? But like for me, and they were so shocked. All like there was 3 DJs there, 3 vendors, and they're just all sitting by these tables and looking at me. And I'm like, look at my Instagram. I mean, and I was nice to them, but I was nice to them.
Yeah.
But they were looking at me like, the fuck, right?
And like the whole time.
They're paying memberships for Wedding Wire. All these like big websites for reviews and like searching for DJs and stuff, like all these vendors. There's memberships for like 1,000, 2, 3, 4, 5 grand a year. I don't have any of that.
Yeah.
But my calendar's slammed. I mean, knock on wood, thank God, right? I mean, I'm blessed. I'm blessed.
You must be doing something differently.
I just, for whatever it is, I don't, take it for granted. Like I said, I appreciate it. I tell all my couples or people that I deal with, even now, like my page, like I posted today. Again, not to compare to anybody's other numbers, but like now,
Did you post? What do you do for a living?
No, not yet. But like my numbers right on my DJing thing is I got 90,300 views right on my page in the month. Like, to me, that's quite reasonable traction. Interactions 1,500 interactions means that 1,500 people clicked separately on my shit.
I hear that's what goes, right?
Yeah.
Boom. I mean, first of all,
that doesn't even look like you.
Yeah. 2,500 followers is awesome.
So if you go to like let's
go to Reels, right?
Yeah.
You can see numbers there. Yeah. Right. I mean, you're getting 2,500, right? 500, 1,100, 2,000 right there.
Yeah.
That's awesome though. Like
10,000. That's from Scooby's wedding.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They had a cool. The venue was cool.
Yeah.
The way it was set up.
But see, look, like stuff like this, I took that picture with my phone, and I made it like that, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
No other DJs see an eye for that. Yeah. All these reels and all these little things that I put together, like even these coming soons and everything else. Yeah. It makes you look at, like, it's a teaser for everything.
Yeah. Exactly.
And the lower you go down, and that's the mobile DJ. That's all I'm talking about right there. Look on that one with the screen. It's a stand, and
Hell yeah! Look at that, dude.
This is your new side business,
there you go,
dude. Look at that.
He's just recording. You know what I mean?
That's awesome. That's
That
funny.
is hilarious.
But like I said, so you know, a lot of that
Don't
stuff
quit your
is
daydream. Is a day job or daydream?
But like I said, I mean, you know, things like this, you know,
Yeah, it's nice to have stuff like this. I mean,
It's-
people look at this stuff, you know.
and like I said, when you look at all these things, all these events, and I did a post also. That one's funny. The Jesus one, no, that's a good one. That was for Easter. Check this out. Click it. Wait for it. Well, what you've had volume, but boom, beat drops.
The beat drops, dude. Yeah.
But like I said, it's that traction that, you know, to get organic traction of people actually looking at your stuff without, you know, obviously now I don't know, Instagram and stuff like that don't allow you to pay for your followers anymore, because like you'll get banned and like locked down and crazy. It's really strict. So, you know, these numbers are weak for me considering, but like
Oh, look, my girlfriend follows you.
but for views, there you go. But for views, like I mean, like I said, 90,000 people in a month saw my page.
Right.
Yeah. That's awesome.
To me, that's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot for sure.
You know, and like I said, it just that
I
traction.
don't even know how you would even. How do you even? I'm curious. What a
MetaSuite.
solution? Where do you even see this kind of information?
Download MetaSuite.
Oh, that's what it is. Oh, okay.
Yeah, and like on Instagram, I mean, like I got the professional one. So like if you go just it actually
So do
pops
we,
up.
I think.
So right now, if it just says professional dashboard, and once you go on it, I don't have any reception.
It's funny that we're all in the computer, on the phone right now. I'm actually curious myself. Let's see.
Hey, where do you see that?
You have to have the professional page though.
Oh, here you go.
So it'll just pop up right there, and then
Oh, I have
Damn,
that.
bro, you blowing us out of the water, bro. I got 27,000 views.
there you go.
Damn,
That's for the month.
Damn, you famous.
But like I said,
I
I
got
don't.
63.
1,000?
Yeah.
Damn, damn. And I have the
I was
most
just doing
follower
it-
of all you
I-
guys in the
I was just doing a giveaway. Though. I was just doing a giveaway.
You hit hard
Yeah,
with that.
yeah.
That's cool.
Hey, check this out. Check this out. Just bought this.
Yeah, I saw you
GTR
post that. I
parts.
saw you post that.
Yeah, but like I said, so it's all these little things that you do. You know,
Yeah.
like I said, even with the whole Instagram and posting and everything else, like the creative side of.
But the crazy part is if you have some creativity, right, and you have access to like Instagram, and
Everybody
Facebook,
has access.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But but you also got to be a little bit creative, right, to make use
Absolutely.
of it, right? But you have all these tools
Yeah.
to work
Yep.
with. You just got to use them,
Yeah.
Yep.
right? I was thinking about that today. I'm like, dude, I have tools to like the other things that I do. Like I do, you know, obviously do a lot of different stuff, solutions and this and EMP farming and then a bunch of other crap.
Bro, you did it again.
This bookshelf, me and this bookshelf, I don't know. It's a relation, love hate, bro.
You see the episode last week where the bookshelf was beating up Paul?
No, that's the other one.
One day that eagle's gonna fall off and smack you in the head.
That's the heavy eagle.
Listen, that's custom, bro. It's custom. There's tools out there. You just gotta put your.
Yeah.
You gotta
You gotta use them.
You gotta use them. Yeah, you gotta use them, and then sometimes it's hard to unlock creativity for
Yeah.
certain people. It really is. Like, I'm creative, just not in that aspect. Like,
Then
Right.
hire somebody.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Hire
You know,
somebody,
or
yeah.
reach out for help.
And there's
with
plenty of
somebody.
those people out there too. They'll do a job. You know.
Yeah, honestly, like we use CapCut a lot, right?
Yeah.
To make videos, or like you already have. There's literally already pre-done things where you just add pictures, whatever,
Yeah.
and all that stuff. And Kinga gave me her login, and I was already getting billed because she's on my Apple account, which is fine, whatever. And I was like editing our videos, right? Or I started like doing like the intros and stuff, and like the desktop version, you need like the pro version.
Yeah.
And I'm like, whatever, $100, you know,
Yeah.
for the year. I'm like, it's worth it. I'm like, and then I told King, I'm like, hey, Edita's getting a login because she's been editing a lot of videos. I'm like, you can use it. You already use it. And then I'm obviously gonna use it for mine,
Yeah.
right? And it's like it costs you $100, but it opens
So many
do-
possibilities.
Yeah, so many possibilities to do
Yeah.
things. You're not limited on like, oh, you need the pro version for this. Just like,
Yeah.
I just paid for it, and I'm like, and you know, that's why I was like, well, we're just gonna take a better picture for these solutions,
Yeah.
put something together, post it.
The
right?
tools are out there. You just got to use them.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
now, especially nowadays, there's a tool literally for
You
everything.
gotta
I mean,
differentiate
AI
yourself.
will do almost everything for you nowadays.
Yeah,
If you just know how to use it, right,
Oh.
or if you know how to go along with it. So, I mean, the tools are out there. You can make something out of nothing basically nowadays.
Yep.
I mean, people do it all the time.
hmm
People make a fake profile basically all the time when they're posting pictures of they're
yeah.
on vacation, this and that, and bro, it's like pictures to the fucking to the some of these Chinese memes are funny. Not memes, but these videos are funny as hell. How they make like a picture look good, like they're looking through a airplane window, but it's a milk jug.
Well, yeah, but those are the creative photographers. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
do different shots.
Yeah.
You can do.
That's a different aspect. But there's a lot of
Yeah.
people out there who are just flaunt stuff that they don't have, but they, like I said,
Oh yeah.
a Lambo and a watch. Yeah, I got it for a day, and then I gotta return it.
Yeah. I want to
So-
circle back to how you were saying like talk about how couples, right? Because usually brides book you, right?
Yep.
But I guess were you ever? How many times were you in a situation? And I've seen this personally when I used to bartend at a lot of weddings, that it's because of the bride and groom that like nobody's dancing, like they're not trying to like push any, like they're not. They seem like they just want to sit down the whole time,
Who?
and like the bride and groom, right? So let's say you're playing some good music and like people want to dance stuff, but it's like the bride and groom aren't doing anything, and usually once the bride and groom start dancing, then everybody else starts dancing
Yeah.
and stuff like that. You ever run into that where it's like,
I mean, I naturally, when I meet them or even when I have conversations on the phone, we'll do
Yeah.
Zoom calls. I can gauge their character.
Right.
I can kind of gauge their energy to see what they're about. Ways that they provide me also with like, must plays, must wants, and
Yeah.
certain things. I kind of can see, what it is. Again, I don't
You
expect.
probably know that some party's night is gonna be.
Yeah, not every
full
party's
power
not
energy.
every party's a banger. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
right,
no
right,
matter it's not nothing that you're doing. It's just
Just the
some
way it's set up.
some
Yeah.
crowds
I'm
are
not
just
saying it's like your fault, right?
yeah. Some crowds are just huge drinkers,
Yeah.
and all they care about is drinking. Some crowds
Which
are just
crowds are
literally.
those?
Which crowds are those? Yeah, I'm curious.
No, I've had everything. That I've had American ones. I've had there's really, like I said, you can't really gauge it, but me as a DJ, when I sit there, I don't really worry about the bride and groom too much, outside of making sure in our meetings that I have what they want. I understand they're busy. Like I said, they have to
Yeah.
be walking
Yeah,
around.
that's
They have
exactly.
to be, they don't have to be on the floor.
Yep.
They have pictures, of whatever they're doing. So, I focus on everything. I mean, you can't be very narrow-minded. You have to be vigilant of everything.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's where, again, not everybody can be a DJ. I've had nights where I had one wedding where a couple called me a week before and they're like, hey, my husband
Calling off the wedding.
no. Not I've never had a call off wedding. I've had a groom not show up until midnight. Almost.
Fuck was he at?
He was passed out in the car.
Okay.
It was a
I'm gonna
it was
guess
a
this is a Polish
very
wedding.
bad. It was a Polish mixed. Yeah.
Sounds about right.
It was terrible. The bride had to do a first dance, everything with both dads. He literally wobbled in like it was like maybe like 11:45 or something.
That's
Dude, it was
crazy.
and it was almost a
Was-
400 person wedding. I mean, it was I was like, dude,
Okay, was he the Polish one or was she?
he was a Polish one.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how they recouped that. I felt so awkward. I felt like
Bro,
I didn't know what to say. Like,
how do you think the people at the wedding felt?
How do you think the bride felt?
yeah. Well, no. Well, that's what I'm saying. The bride was like. That's why when I went over there, I'm like, "Where's we were lining up the couples, and I'm like, bridal parties, this and that, and I see like the bride and like the maid of honor, and they're all freaking out, walking around, and the bride's crying, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? And I'm like, where's the groom at? And then the one guy's like, dude, not good. And I'm like, what do you mean not good? And they go outside, and he's literally hanging out with his head by the back tire, just like they were on the verge of either calling an ambulance to like pump out his stomach,
Yeah.
or
Just let him be.
or let him be until
Yep.
whatever.
Yep,
So
yep.
I guess they decided to let him be, and then yeah, it was terrible. I mean, that was probably one of the most awkward kind of like situations.
Hey, people are not gonna be happy with that one.
Yeah, but I mean, like I said, I don't follow up with that. But like I
Yeah.
said, couples and people wise, I mean, like I said, it's just one of these things that you can't teach. But what I was getting at, the couple calls me a week before and they're like, hey, my husband wants to have this DJ from California come out. Can he play on your setup, right? To play for a wedding, a little bit, like an hour set or something. And I'm like, okay, sure, I don't care. I'm still getting paid. I'm just gonna hang out and eat, and whatever.
Yep.
So he comes there, and I'm like, who is this guy? And they gave me the Instagram, and I look at it, and I'm like, all right, this dude's like a club DJ. Like he's, there's different DJs. There's different spectrum ones.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
guys that can, play at Spy Bar only, and whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, this is like a 300+ wedding, and he comes on, goes on the stage. I introduce him, this and that, and he just starts going at it, and he starts going hard. Fucking Spy Bar, like deep tech house, like
yep.
deep, like progressive, And I'm sitting there, I'm like, God damn, like, this is like, I like all that stuff. Like, it's
Yeah.
fun to mix,
That was
but I'm
like-
like,
This is a wedding.
it's just nonstop,
Yeah.
just going at it. And I'm like, okay, maybe 15 minutes into it. I mean, I just look at the floor and I'm like, dude, as I'm eating, I'm like, disappear. All that's left is like maybe 2 bridal party and the bride and groom on the whole floor. There's 300 plus people. And the parents are looking at me, because I was the one that started the night. Everything was fine. And then this dude comes up, they don't understand who this is, but it was like a surprise or whatever.
Yeah.
Bride comes up to me, oh my God, like, is he doing something wrong? And I'm like,
everything.
I'm like, this is not his vibe. I'm like, I can play this shit too, but he does not do weddings. Like, you have to have a special niche for like understanding people. And she's like, oh my God, what do we do? And I'm like, it's your wedding. I'm like, he can complain for the hour if he wants, but I'm like, no offense. I'm like, if it's not his crowd, we just got to tell him.
His ass.
So, and then she went up to him or whatever, this and that. And I try to kind of mellow him out the most. Like, I was like, ladies and gentlemen, blah, 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 blah. And, I just told him, I'm like, bro, like, no offense. Like, I understand you're a club guy, like in California, you're doing what you're doing, but
this isn't it.
Weddings aren't your thing. Yeah. Just why would you even take on this stupid gig? Somebody, paid. But so yeah, so there's different things that, some people just don't read and some people can't. They're just into it. Like I said, the biggest headliner names would never be able to pull a party that has different demographic of ages and everything else. None of them would. Yeah. They'd be cool for 2-3 hours for their set on only what they have, and they get off the stage and leave. Yep. But me, I can literally pull, if you're good at what you do, you can pull a party for 7 hours and people still having a good time and everybody will be fist pumping and
they want you to keep going.
Yeah, exactly. All the way to the end. Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. I mean, that's what it is. I mean, that's what you do. That's a niche. That's a niche. Exactly. Like you said, you got to know how to read people and know how to.
And you can't teach that.
You can't. No.
You can't teach it.
Well, you can't. No, you can't really teach that because you got to know how to listen to people, and watch people, right? You really got to read the room.
You got to be comfortable to be in front of people.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to be comfortable to have shit happen and then you not freak out.
Yeah, just go with the flow and pick up the pieces or whatever and just continue. Right?
It's there's so many different things that, like I said, take part where. I mean, I've had horror stories myself. Not everything's always peachy. You know?
Exactly.
But
and you make best of the situation and you move on, right? And you're there to do your job, do the best of your abilities that you can, and call it a night. And that's it. What else are you gonna do? You're not gonna go home and cry. You know what I mean? I did the event. I mean, shit happens. All kinds of stuff happens. Dude doesn't show up for his wedding. I mean. Awkward situation, but
that's why I tell couples. I'm like, listen, I don't, we talk because they're like, oh well. Some people have asked me, would you mind not like pretty much drinking while you're working? And I'm like, well, I don't drink at all. You know what I mean? So we talk about that and I tell them, I'm like,
maybe you shouldn't drink.
Yeah. I'm like, let's straight up, like I'm not going to be an autopilot. Like, I mix, I do this, like, you're not going to not have somebody that's not responsible. Yeah. But I'm like, I'm not trying to control you, but I'm like, all I'm guiding you to is do not let your bridal party get wasted before we do the main intros. I'm like, don't embarrass yourself. Don't embarrass your family. Don't embarrass, don't waste your money. And, numerous times it's worked.
That happens a lot.
And other times, people want, there'll be Polish people especially, not a lot of times does this happen, but still, everybody wants different intros, right? Yeah. I want a song, cue up the blah, 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 blah.
Are you a fan of that or no?
I don't care. I mean, I'll do it, but it's just, if your bridal party is up for that, if they're not drunk enough. So I have everything. I do my homework. I pre-cue. I do everything at home. I get everything ready, set. I get to the hall. I'm lining them up, and I'm just trying to line you up, and you're just so fucked up that you're walking around a different area, and I'm like, dude, whoever, stay here. Yep. You're up next.
Yeah, just makes your job harder.
And it's just like, dude, I did my part. Now I gotta like deal with it, and like sometimes. I'll play a song and he'll come out earlier than he's supposed to, and then now my whole roster's fucked.
Yeah.
And now it's like I gotta figure out on cue when me and Joanna we do trilingual or bilingual. Mm-hmm. So then it's like me and her are looking at the script like shit. Now we gotta like in both languages or 3 languages try to fuck it up because it's just so. There's numerous things that, like I said, you don't control, but you just try to make it, to where it's the most professional.
And you're not a babysitter.
You're not exactly.
And you're also not going to tell people what they should and shouldn't do.
Right. I just recommend it. I tell them from my experience, and I'm like, if you guys want your bridal party to have 12 bottles at the North before you get to the freaking hall, that's your problem.
Well, cool. I know some people that like where they make different batches of Titanovka. They make a super weak one on the party bus.
Yeah.
Right. So that way. People are drinking, they're like having a good time, but they're not actually getting.
But they don't know that it's not as.
Yeah.
It tastes good.
It's all mental at that point. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Lemonade.
Yeah, yeah, but I agree. Like, I mean, I've seen it happen. I've bartended so many weddings where it's like you see it. I mean, I've seen one where somebody dropped their bridesmaid.
Yo, I've seen that one too. Live.
Oh yeah, I mean, like
Should happen.
funny stuff or goofy accidents and stuff. I mean, I've seen people puke on themselves
Yeah,
as they're
yeah.
dancing.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's just like embarrassing. But at that point, it's like I said, the stuff that I see, that's where I was getting at in the beginning. Past that 1 a.m. mark, there's no more quality.
Yeah.
You know, you come outside, like I'm loading up my equipment at 3 a.m, and like there's dudes laying in the bushes. You know, no phone, no wallet, no this, and I'm just like, dude, like.
No name.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know who you are, and I'm like, this is
This is it, right?
This is it. Like
this is it.
this was a good time.
This is good. It was good. It was a great. Listen, it was like if I don't know my name, it was a great time, all right?
I mean, I'm just like, bro.
But at the next day, that's when you recoup the memories and you're like, yeah,
Or you
yeah,
don't remember.
Yeah.
Like our cousin. Remember our cousin who came for a wedding, and then I had to pick his ass up at 4 in
Yeah,
the morning
he
from
was,
the bathroom.
he was stuck in a stall.
Bro,
The best is I get a Snapchat from like 2 hours before that, and he's just like in the stall, and you could tell he's in the stall. He's just like,
yeah. And then he fell asleep with it.
yeah.
And then the
and then-
party, the wedding ended at 3 in the morning. And everybody dipped.
We're in the limo back home,
Yeah.
and mind you, my best friend's wife they own the
Oh,
place,
yeah.
right? It was Crystal Grand,
Mhm.
and she calls me, or Mike calls me, and he's like, "Yo," he's like, "There's somebody here." He's like, "I just walked in the bathroom. There's like somebody here. He's passed out." I'm like, he's like, "I think it's your cousin from Canada." I'm like, "God damn it, David."
So guess what? Someone had to go pick his ass up.
Paul did.
Fucking, I'm over here like I had a good night, so I didn't get drunk or anything. I had a drink or two, whatever, but I was okay. Got to get in the car, fucking 4 in the morning, drive out to fucking Lamont, pick his ass up, drive back home. I'm like, dude, it's 5 in the morning. I get home. He's like, thanks for picking me up, and I'm like, bro, the fuck, like, you know, like,
Taxi.
did you
fee,
like
bro.
did you forget that the party ends? Well, I mean, did you forget? You were passed out, so I mean, I guess you know,
yeah.
what are you gonna do about it? But whatever.
I mean, I've been in that situation where I got a little too drunk right before I walked out, or I was a little too drunk right before I walked out.
I mean, you know, when you're
It,
young,
it,
and
it happened.
whatever, right?
It happened once, and it never happened again. And then I learned my
Listen,
lesson real
gets
quick.
to the best of us.
Yep.
You know, sometimes it just creeps up on you and then just smacks the shit out of you. You know what I mean? I had such
That's one thing I don't know.
He doesn't.
Yeah.
He doesn't relate.
right?
He
You
doesn't
don't
relate.
drink, right?
Yeah, because to me, like I said, it's just like I look at people and like, I mean, I people watch, and you know, it's just like
And
when
then you're
people
like, was it worth it?
Yeah.
people are like, oh, I'm not gonna drink today, this and that, and like I always make fun of Joanna too, like with her friends. We're not drinking. It's like you're peer pressure 1 or 2 times. Okay, half.
Yeah.
That's
And
how
what
it
does that
starts.
half turn into?
Half, then another half, and it's like, dude,
You
it's-
might as well drink fulls. At
yeah,
this
but
point.
people always do that. Half. I'm not
Yeah.
drinking today, and it's like, dude, you already drank half a bottle.
The
Like,
best is the last wedding we were all at. Joanna comes up to Michelle, right, and she's like, "Oh, cheers, whatever." And then, or I drink to her, or whatever the.
Because Joanna drinks, right? She'll have.
Yeah, casually. I mean, nothing else.
casually.
Not
Well,
drinks,
not
but
like, not like that drinks.
But she comes by just to say hi to Michelle.
Clear it
Michelle's
up.
like, yeah. Michelle's like, "Oh, have a shot," and she's like, "Okay." And obviously in Polish, you drink it and you
Yeah,
pass
of
it, you
course.
cheers to somebody, right? And so
Rule of thumb for anybody who's out there going to Polish parties. I know there's Polish people that listen to us, but rule of thumb, if you're drinking a Polacks,
cheers
you
to
have
them.
to cheers to the next person.
Yeah.
You can't drink the shot and be like, oh, I'm going
penalty
to pour you
shot.
the next. That's a penalty shot. You got to drink again. So you make sure that you cheers to the next person.
But anyway, she goes around the table because it was going this way, right? And she goes up. It was Christina, right? Was sitting with us, and she goes, and then she leaves, and Christina's like, "Who is that girl?" Like, she's like, and then she's like, "Who's that girl?" And then she's like talking to her husband. She's like, "Oh my god, she's on stage." She's like, "Why did she come over here?" And we're like, "Because she's our friend." She's like, "Oh, I thought she was just coming over here. I felt so weird." Like, that's so fucking funny.
That's funny. That is funny.
But that happens a lot, like for that whole
Yeah.
aspect of like people are surprised on stage or whatever. Like I'm nowhere near anybody, or I'm a little peon of anybody, right? But like in the suburbs, especially in the Lithuanian community, like I guess you can say I'm known.
Yeah.
Famous.
Yeah, I mean not to be cocky,
You're
right?
famous,
but
Yeah.
man.
people know me. Like
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
have
yeah.
and like me and Joanna, how many times shall we bust my balls? I could say like anywhere we're out, there's always somebody that knows me.
That's my girlfriend too.
It's always like oh yeah, we know you were we were at car shows or whatever. People come up to me, they're like, I haven't seen these people. Are like, oh, you're playing our wedding like next year. I'm like Okay, nice
Cool.
to meet you. Like, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's like people are like shaking my hand and like walking up and they're like, oh, yo, what's going on? And I'm like, I have no idea who you are. And they're like, oh, you played my cousin's wedding last year. And I'm like, bro, I've gone through probably 16,000 people in the past 2 years. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, I don't know who you are. And I feel bad. And they try to make conversations. They're like, oh, how you been? And I'm like, great.
How about you?
Yeah, how about you? Like, I don't know what to even ask you. Like, who are you? You know what I mean? But
I mean,
that's
just
too,
part
like
of
our family's kind of pretty known, right?
Yeah,
so
dude.
people
Bro,
know us.
I go
when we
to parties
around.
and shit. Like,
Yeah.
what's up, dude? I'm
Yeah.
like, what's up, man? He's like, we know each other from somewhere. I'm like, yeah, probably.
Yeah, or like I'll go somewhere and be like, oh yeah, you're Paul's brother, or you're Joanna's brother, or mind you, I'm the youngest of 5 siblings,
Yeah.
so they're like, you're Peter's brother, King's brother. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Or and so always my girlfriend's like, I don't get it. Last time she's like, one time we went to her cousin's party. She's like, how do we walk into my own family party? You know more people than I do.
yeah.
I just, I guess that just happens over time. I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, if you especially if you
Yeah.
interact with a lot of people, like
Yeah.
when I go to a party or go to a wedding, whatever, I'll talk to
I'm a
anybody.
social. I'm a very
Yeah,
social
fuck yeah.
person.
I'll talk to you about whatever, bro. I mean, this is why we're doing
I'm
this.
just visible.
Yeah.
Nobody really communicates with me. I'm just
Yeah.
visible.
What are you talking about,
And
bro?
then-
Communicate with you all the
Well,
time.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
you,
Maybe
right? You know what I mean?
but I mean, overall, like, people,
Yeah.
people then associate like, oh, then they follow me on Instagram or somewhere or this and that, and it's like then you kind of see what people are doing, and then like people come up to me like, oh, I see what you do on Instagram, and I'm like, damn, dude, like,
Thanks for
creeping.
the support.
Following you,
Thanks
bro.
for the support.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. That's like when we get bad comments on our podcast.
Yeah.
dude.
Thanks for watching.
Yeah.
That happens.
People talking shit all the time. That's okay. That's all right. That's fun. It's fun when it goes out that way. At least you're interacting
love,
with it.
I love the comments that we're getting. It's like, man, they just let anybody talk now, huh?
Oh, that was funny, dude. Oh man, freedom of speech, bitches. That's what it is. That's why we do this kind of shit, because we talk to people. We
Yeah,
like
of
talking to
course.
people. You know, I mean, it's like, people ask us like, why are you doing this? And I'm like, I like to talk to people. It's fun.
Yeah.
I'm not doing this for anything else than just have a conversation
exactly.
and hang out for a little bit. Drink
If we
a beer or
make some
two.
money,
Whatever.
we'll buy some nicer mics, I guess.
Hopefully one day,
Nice
but
setup. It's a nice setup.
we're getting there. We're getting there. The boom. I got a boom now.
There you
I
go.
didn't have a boom before. This is
There
my
you go.
first time with a look at this boom. I got a boom, bro. Look at it.
Bro, you sound like fucking Trump. Look at it.
If I had to
Look
hold
at
this
his
mic, it
boom.
would have been over
Yeah.
all day.
No, we had the little stands before, but then if you had the stands, you had to go like.
Yeah, all the time.
So now with the boom is nice. We had to upgrade the table because our previous table was a much smaller table. So we're getting there.
You got to go with the theme, like with the Highlander.
How's your butt right now? Yeah, exactly.
It's I'm in church.
We've
Yeah,
we've gotten used to it.
I don't know if
Sort
we've
of.
gotten used to
Sort
it. My
of.
butt still hurts.
I'm numb as hell. What's I missing now? Jesus
We're
Christ.
gonna wrap this
Luckily,
up.
we're
gonna
wrapping
wrap
it
this
up,
Yeah, 100%. Thanks for coming on, dude.
No,
It
no
was fun.
problem,
It was
man.
a
I
good
appreciate you
conversation.
guys
Hopefully your business continues and
Yeah.
keeps
We'll-
prospering and get more clients and stuff.
for sure.
And maybe one day we'll do this again. We got a couple
Yeah,
more
dude.
subjects we got to talk about.
100%.
We missed about our whole Blue Ridge houses and stuff like that.
That's another episode. Maybe I'm gonna elaborate on that. you know?
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So we'll do it another time.
Yeah.
So appreciate you coming out.
Appreciate you guys.
Thank you for watching. Have a good night, everybody.
Make sure to
Peace.
like, comment, subscribe.
That's right.
care,
Comment,
guys.
comment. Really, if you have something to say, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Comment
Even
if you
about
want.
me.
Comment
Comment about me too.
His head's really shiny.
Have a good night.
Good
Oh,
night.
wrong one.
Oh,
That's over.
That's over. We're done. Till the
All
next
right,
one.
Have a good night, guys.